from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. We'll be at the Benton Charter Township community room where they have their meetings. Seeing citizens, and at the time you can enter a payment plan that will give you still a month left in March. But I hope that you will take advantage of that. And then I want to let you know, and I'm sure these are things that the our city clerk brings to your attention, but to the citizens and to the commissioners, as I'm sure you already know, in 2020, you have an opportunity to vote 4 times. We have time voting 1 time, but there are 4 elections in 2020, and we need to come. We need, when I look at things and they talk about registration, that's not our problem. We have so many people registered to vote, and we have a time getting at least 1,000 for whatever the occasion or the reason to vote is for. And so I have a number of these, and I'd like to pass them out or lay them down. I know maybe you can't have political things, but this is saying election is March 10th is a presidential primary, because the state of Michigan is one of those early voting states. The special election is May 5th. That's usually if it's anything about schools, or some communities will have an election and some will not. And then the Michigan primary is August 4th. And then the general election is November 3rd. And I wonder, what are we going to do about it? This is something. We have that opportunity. So I ask that you please be sure that your taxes are paid, or that you're in a payment plan for 2017 taxes, and that you vote every time there's a time to vote, and take someone with you. Thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you. This brings us to a special presentation by the Benton Harbor History After School Program. Before they begin, I would ask that all electronic devices, for the sake of order, please be muted or powered off. Thank you.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and all of the commissioners here today, as well as the staff for the City of Benton Harbor and all the participants here in this room. Last Tuesday, on the 11th of February, was the Benton Spirit's 18th year anniversary. Some of you may, thank you. Some of you may know me from the Benton Spirit, but tonight I am wearing the biggest pair of shoes, boots I've ever worn since I've been here in Benton Harbor. I sat here today as the program coordinator for the Benton Harbor After School History Program. And what a program it is. Pastor Lynch started his prayer today talking about the future of this city. I am here to present to you the future of Benton Harbor, my superstars from Benton Harbor High School and the Dream Academy. All right. Yes. You will hear from them shortly, but I want to just give you a little more background about the Benton Harbor After School History Program. We meet every Tuesday and every Thursday, and sometimes outside of those days, because we're so enthusiastic and just intrigued with the history of Benton Harbor. And we meet and we educate them about the rich history of Benton Harbor, Michigan, 49022. What we do with that training, that education, we then train them in multimedia so that the world will know more about the greatness of Benton Harbor. It is a rich history, and I hope that tonight you'll get just a small little piece of something about what we have produced. Our program, like I said, meets every Tuesday and Thursday, but this is our first product that we have produced, and I would like to introduce you to our future superstars from Benton Harbor High School and the Dream Academy. Please come up. All right.
Oh, not good morning, I'm sorry. Good afternoon. My name is Adriana McFall. I'm a junior at Benton Harbor High School and I'm Mrs. Jewett. Did you know the building used for Benton Harbor City Hall was built in 1886 for the fire department, as in the house number 1 when Benton Harbor was just a village. And now because of most of you, the building is renamed Dr. Wilson L. Cook Building. Read more about it in the month of June. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Anaya Daniels, and I'm an 11th grader, and I attend Benton Harbor High School, and I'm Miss February. Did you know Dr. Charles Bassett Brown was one of the top oral maxillofacial surgeons in this country, and he was born here in Benton Harbor, Michigan. Also, Miss Betty Sharon Cole was the first to open a Black-owned dry cleaners business here in Benton Harbor. Read more about these two icons in the month of February. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Malik Rittman. I am Mr. May. Did you know that the Benton Harbor steamer brought tons and tons of food back and forth from Benton Harbor to Chicago? Read more in the month of May.
Good evening. My name is Ashley Oscar Bowman. I'm a junior at Benton Harbor High School, and I'm Miss April. Did you know that in 1907, Mercy Hospital was opened by Dr. Harry Voorhees Tedden at the cost of $17,000 for all of 8,000 of Benton Harbor's residents? And after many years of being open, it was shut down in 2016. Read more about it in the month of April. Hi, my name is Talia Willis Brown. I am a 9th grader at Dream Academy. I am in September. And did you know that heavyweight world champion Jack Dempsey came to Benton Harbor for his first fight since earning his title by defeating Jess Willard? Read more about it in the month of September.
Hello everyone, my name is Taina Taylor and I am a senior at Benton Harbor High School and I am Miss August. Did you know that in the early 1900s, the Saltzman Mineral Baths and Hotel was open and this was a place where people from all over the country came to this specific place in the city of Benton Harbor just to be healed, just to be cured. And you can read more all about it in the month of August. Thank you.
How y'all doing today? Hi, my name is Carliana Curtis. I attend the Benton Harbor High School. I am in 11th grade. Did you know America's first car was built in Benton Harbor, Michigan? You can read more about this in 2020 Benton Harbor calendar.
Thank you. Yes, and it's, thank you. Oh, come on, you're not, she's not quite late. She was with us all day. But she has one more thing to showcase in the calendar. And again, this calendar was produced by the students here. And if you look through the calendar, which I hope all of you do, it's only a mere $5, but it's worth much, much more. This is more than a calendar. This is to inspire and educate people about Benton Harbor. We will be actually implementing a website, a Facebook page, and social media. That will be run by all of these superstars here. We are here because of you. We are standing on shoulders, most of you here. And now these young people are here to come into this city hall. And they were a little frightened at first, but their fears, believe it or not, has gone down. I thought they would have been trembling because they were able to see our mayor, our commissioners, the staff here, city managers, the public. They said, how many people will be here? I said, it doesn't matter. Just come in. I think Mayor Muhammad, during the November election, you took pictures with our staff. And after they left you, they all went into our room is on the 2nd floor. They're like, we took a picture with the mayor. He is, yeah, for them, this means so much. And I hope when we start showcasing the best of Benton Harbor, we start inspiring and educating. Some of you may know some of the things that they talked about, and some of you may not. But please get a copy of the 2020 Benton Harbor History Calendar. We have one more person who's been working with us, and she would like to share something about the history calendar.
Oh, good evening. My name is Shiraz Rackers Dorsey, and I'm one of the mentors with the Benton Harbor After School Area History Program. And did you know that the first space kitchen was designed and built right here in Benton Harbor, Michigan, at Whirlpool. So you have to get the calendar and read more about it. I am so proud of these kids, these young ladies and gentlemen. They are teaching me more also, and I'm teaching them. Thank you.
And lastly, I would just like to say, there's so much good coming from Benton Harbor High School and the Dream Academy. And this is proof of it. It's so much more. There are students walking down the hallways. We make sure they understand they are walking in history. And now, history has been made again. I would like to introduce to all of you the new superintendent of Benton Harbor Area Schools, Dr. Andre Townsend. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll be very brief. I'm very privileged and pleasured to be here. Yesterday was my first day in the district. Even though the students were in school, I was in the office. Met with all of the executive cabinet members to kind of see the superintendent onboarding and kind of the state of every department. Additionally, today I had the privilege and pleasure of visiting every last one of our schools and speak with all of our school leaders, principals to dean of students, to even food cafeteria workers, just to let them know that we're here, we're good to go. I feel so honored to have inherited such a gold mine, and I really cannot wait to get down to business, get the work going to ensure that our kids are college ready, career ready, and life ready. Just know that I need support. That's all. Love and patience. Change is not an event, it's a process, and we're leading for excellence. Thank you.
All right. Yes. Yes. Oh, yes.
I just wanted to say that we won't be able to stay at the end of this meeting because they have to go back and get ready for work. Ready for school. So, and some of their parents are waiting for them. But I want to thank you for this opportunity. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Will any of the council members like to speak or address any comments toward the students in the program? Chair recognizes Commissioner Adams.
Like to say, keep up a good work. I've been following you guys, and I'm very proud of where I see you're headed in the future, whatever career path you take. Just choose one and stay your course.
Chair recognizes Commissioner at Large Singleton.
I'd like to say congratulations to the kids too. See some of you at the radio station and do a good job when they come in. Future newscasters, writers, I see all kinds of good things for you. If I knew that I had to come take a picture, I might have edged out the mayor. I was trying to figure out what did he do to edge out. Keep up the good work. I like to thank Mr. Wyatt too, the work that she does, her staff. They work real tirelessly and do a good job. Like you say, it's something good coming out of Benton Harbor.
Chair recognizes Mayor Pro Tem Seats.
Thank you, young people, for coming tonight and get a protector of our history. History is gold. That's where you come from. It's the shoulders that you stand on. And never be afraid to speak up, stand up, hold your head up, because you are our future. And you guys did a marvelous job tonight. I'm very impressed with your ability to speak and articulate that which our history depicts. And now you'll become history. For the first time, you've come and spoke on record. And at this meeting, everything is logged in at this date. So now you are history. So you can speak on this day when you came and spoke to the city of Benton Harbor. So now somebody has to come behind you. So I congratulate you on a job well done, and hold your head up high, speak with authority, speak with clarity and power, and there's nothing that shall be withheld from you. You're gonna be some great young people. Be leaders and not followers. Change the direction of what people think about you and think about us, because what they say about you is not true. It's not true. So Again, I congratulate you. I thank you, Mr. Tobias. It takes a lot to give back. It takes a lot to give back to everybody who's helping these young people. Thank you. Because some people are trying to do it to make money, but we're doing it to try to make history. And that's what you're doing a great job. So thank you again. Thank you, Honorable Mayor, for taking that picture too. I want to see it.
Chair recognizes Second Ward Commissioner Edwards.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to say, first of all, congratulations and a great job by the two young ladies. And then to the students, a couple of them I know working at the school. One of them I had the pleasure of coaching in basketball. But I would like to say this to you all. You guys are doing a great job. Keep it up. But I want you to take this moment and look around. And my kids are grown now, but I used to always tell them every day, keep your mind open because there's something there that might fit you, that you might want to do. You can look at everyone here. One of you might want to do this, but at some point in life, all of us will be gone. One of you all, or somebody you know, got to take this place because the future doesn't stop right there. It's got to keep going. So just keep your mind open and let it flow. Great job. See you next time.
I'd just like to say ditto to what all the other commissioners said, and I had an opportunity to meet you too that night and talk to you guys. So you did a great job presenting. It is, I know adults who don't speak as well as you guys spoke tonight in front of crowds of people. And like Commissioner C said, you guys have made history tonight. So thank you and congratulations, and thank you, Mr. Bias, and the people who work with those young people.
Chair recognizes Commissioner Harrelson.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. I'd like to congratulate all of the young ladies, I think one gentleman. And if you just stay focused on what you're trying to do in life, you'll be successful. And I pray that you all be well. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Third Ward Commissioner Henry.
Thank you. It is something to see when young people stand up and do positive things. And the best part about it, us adults should support them. So I heard them talk about, do you have 5 on it? Now's the time to put the 5 on it and support the kids. We should all have a calendar in our possession and put that $5 on it that we were talking about a couple weeks ago.
I got them throughout my house.
Chairman recognizes City Manager.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I want to go after the mayor. Let me say, it is really great to see young people step up. As Commissioner Ed would say, one day we won't be here. Not here. I hope I'll still be around, but not here. And we're going to need replacement. And I want to echo congratulations from all of the commissioners that all of the commissioners gave. And I want to say to the superintendent, who I met the night you were interviewing, you inherited a good place. You got that part, I got this part, we're gonna put this thing together.
I'd like to thank the superintendent for your bold and optimistic position. And welcome to the city of Benton Harbor. You officially are a tiger. Mrs. Pincella Tobias is the coordinator and your staff. This is the second that I can recall wonderful calendars that you have produced with young people. We do have one in the mayor's office, and we would like to have multiple calendars to give out as people come in as guests and tourists to our city, so they can have a piece of the history when they leave. To the young people, you were absolutely stunning and stellar tonight. But I just ask one thing, that if you had a Sunday school speech teacher, go and tell them thank you, because you definitely learned the lesson.
Yes, sir.
So God bless you, and we look forward to the great work that you'll be doing. This brings us to our citizens' comments or public participation. Each speaker has 3 minutes. Please register with the city clerk, and she will call you according to the names on the list.
Michelle Evans.
Good evening, Mayor Muhammad and the rest of the commission. I am Michelle Evans. I am the mother of Michael Thompson, the young man that was in that video that ABC 57 News aired last night. I have a couple comments about that. Someone posted on there that he got what he deserved. Actually, he didn't. He didn't deserve to be hit. Once he was down, he wasn't a threat to anybody. He didn't deserve, the issue wasn't about him being tased. The issue was about him being on the ground and being punched 3 times in the face. The issue is about the young man in the blue who was arrested for recording it. The issue isn't the first time the officer has been accused of excessive force, and he's still employed. The issue is about Black men being beaten and or killed by the police, and it's being justified.
That's right.
Thankfully, Michael ran in front of the building instead of the back. Had he ran in the back of the building instead of being here at this meeting, I would have been at a funeral a couple months ago on December 28th. That's not acceptable. Yes, he was wrong for running, but you don't beat him down because he ran. That doesn't make sense. I have a couple questions. Where in the training manual does it say, where in the manual does it show you how to punch someone already on the ground and injure your hand and accuse him of doing that? That don't make sense. That just does not make sense. And also, striking someone, the officer said, and I quote, I'm gonna paraphrase for you. How is striking someone in the face 3 times going to get control of him and reset his mindset? Make that make sense to me. That does not make sense. Anytime you hit somebody, they ain't thinking about, I shouldn't have did this. They thinking about what you just did to them. And in the video, the only way it came to light is because his lawyer gave me a copy of the video from the store surveillance. And also gave me a copy of the police video. Nowhere in that video does it show Officer Drew Wagner hitting him. So what's that about? It does not make sense. All these Black men have been killed by the police all over this country. Nothing's being said. They get a pass. I can not take my trash out, and y'all gonna give me a ticket. That don't make sense. And I'm tired of it, and it needs to stop. Thank you.
Kim Foster.
Hello, my name is Kimberly Foster. I'm Michael's aunt. And I just want to say, watching the video, I noticed that he didn't fight back. He didn't really do anything. He was, because he was pulling the prongs out, he was in pain. So not once did I ever see Michael retaliate. He was in pain. So, to me, it was excessive. It really was excessive. And that's just all I got to say. Thank you.
Gwen Swanigan.
Hello, everybody. How are you guys doing? I'm Gwen Swanigan, and I am advocating for the family of Michael Thompson. I'm not sure if all of you have seen the video, but there's a video out there, and he didn't deserve what he got. Not at all. For someone to say that it was justified, it wasn't. He wasn't resisting the taser, and for the officer to say that the taser didn't work, it did work because it knocked him down on his back. It knocked him down on his back, and that's when the officer got on top of him and started wailing on him. He pulled his hair, he choked him, then he had him on the ground again, rolled him over, and hit him again. Okay? And he hit him hard because he broke his hand. And then they try to charge him with resisting and obstructing with injury. So that bumps it up a charge. I'm calling for you all. First of all, I would like to say, for them to say that, they have the right to hit them in the head to reset their thought process. Are you kidding me? Show me the training manual, the policy of use of force. Is there one? Is there a training manual? Is there a training policy for use of force? If there's not, it needs to be. I'm asking a question, and I don't know if you all should know, because you're the commissioners and, city manager and chief of police. Is there a policy for use of force that you guys have? And this says that this is okay, Well, anyway, I am calling for the suspension of this young man because this is not the only complaint. There's been a lot of complaints out here with this man doing the same thing over and over and over again. I'm calling for the suspension, pending investigation, because that's what should have happened in the beginning. Pending investigation, and find out what's going on with this young man, because again, this is not the first, but I hope it's the last. This young man did not deserve this treatment. And don't bring up his past, because it has nothing to do with what just happened. Don't bring up the felony that he had that had nothing to do with them chasing him, because they didn't know who he was when he chased them. He did not know who this young man was. He said he didn't know who he was. So for anybody to bring up he had a felony or he had a warrant, okay, so what? It didn't matter. It didn't warrant him to do that. So is there a way, some of them are willing to give the 3 minutes to show this video tonight, just so you all can see that? Isn't this the people's chambers? Don't you guys work for the people? It's only 2 minutes. It's only a minute or two for it to be shown, because people need to see exactly. And this has been going on for too long, and people getting away with this. They're getting away with this, and it's sad, and it's not right. It's not right. It's not right. So we need to call to action, and for you all to do the due diligence that needs to be done for Michael and his family and the other ones that came before him.
Thank you for your time.
So no video?
Your time is up.
I understand, but I'm asking, no video? You can't do the video?
Your time is up.
Y'all see that? Y'all hear that, right?
Benton Kyle.
Video, that's a video.
So my name is Brenton Cowles. My name is Brenton Cowles, and we are here for an unfortunate situation with Michael, a young black man experiencing police brutality and corruption. And I can only think about my, like what I went through, my own experiences that I went through with the police, and it's sad that us as young black males have to go through what we go through, and it don't end like right there. It starts with the fathers, where the fathers at, where the men that's, standing in a position being there for the young males, because us young males can't do it by ourselves. We need the help, all the help that we can get, but especially young black males, it's like we just out there left just right there just to sit there and die. Where are the voices? Who is speaking up? Who gonna cry loud?
Right.
Who gonna spare not? Who gonna lift up their voice and say something? What's gonna happen? So it's like even the younger children, the young kids, the babies. We're talking about children now. First of all, all of us were once children. So what about the young children that may have to experience this growing up if nothing changed right here, right now? So, but with care and concern.
You work in the school. You work with young boys.
Point of order, ma'am.
Okay, sorry about that.
Whomever wants to speak during the public comment, you can register with the city clerk, and you will have 3 minutes.
Thank you.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, and that's a good point you brought out too. So I do work in the schools with younger black children. So since I work in the school with younger black children, I don't want to see this. I don't want to see them experiencing what this young black male just experienced, and also me having my own experiences. So we got to do something about this, because this is not okay. There's no race superior or better than the other. First of all, God has made us all to be together. Ain't no black, no white, no Mexican, Hispanic, we all one, because God made us. Every last one of y'all, every last one of us. So we got to do something about this. We can't just sit here and just let stuff happen. We got to stand up, and even us, we got to speak up. You know what's going on.
Right.
So let's say something. Let's talk. Let's move. Let's take care of business. With care and concern, the Sharp Foundation.
Marvin Haywood.
Good evening. I come this evening, my heart is touched because I remember in 06 when I went through a similar situation where I was harassed by the police. But I thank God that I was able financially to have a lawyer and to do something in regards to the situation. As we stand here tonight, we can't get caught up on titles.
That's right. Yeah.
A lot of times we put ourselves in position, but character means a lot when you talk about the people. When I say I serve, it's not about me, it's about the people. And a lot of times I think we get caught up in the show so much till we lose reality. There's a lot of things that have been going on in the city of Benton Harbor. One of the things that I've always spoke about is the 3 forms of power. People can have power over you, you can have power with the people, or you can have power to do the right thing. Because a lot of you are making decisions that affect the lives of this community and children well beyond my time here. And we talk about doing right and wrong. Truth is truth and falsehood is falsehood. We have to find out what are we going to really stand on. A lot of content becomes a con. We've been going through this for years and years and years. And it seems like if you do the same thing looking for a different result, it's called insanity. And I know I got a lot of common sense. I ain't getting caught up on no accolades, I ain't getting caught up on nothing. We just have to deal with reality. That young man made a good point. And that is this: we need individuals that have to stand up.
Yeah.
You have to have a spine, you have to have a backbone. If we're serving the agenda of others and making it be that's right, we got to be caught up in the show. Like he said, everybody knows what's really going on, but whose agenda are we really carrying out? I said this and I mean this. It's 3 things that make a community function. That's the school board, that's your city government, and that is your churches. If they're not in line and everybody's caught up on their agenda, which is a self agenda, we can never get anything done. And I say that because it's about keeping it real. You understand? You got to be real with yourself, because you got to look yourself in the mirror. You can see a lot of things. You can see everything that look good. I'm a man of few words, but it's one thing for sure. I've been through the storm. I've seen both sides of the coin. And I understand when it comes to dealing with racism, it's alive and well, because we're in Barron County. This ain't just started today. This has been going on for a long time. But when you find individuals that sit back and try to make what is wrong right, make what's wrong right, and then they buy into it. You will never hear nothing else from them about what's going on because they want you to forget. And it's one thing that we have to remember. It's all about the people. The people have to make change.
Thank you, Mr. Haywood.
And you can go to wakandabh.com and find out about that change. And this is why we need a racial equity department. It's happening all over the world.
Thank you, Mr. Haywood.
Thank you.
Eleanor Gavin.
Good evening. I actually was coming out tonight to make an apology to Commissioner Adams. We disagreed on some things, but there was a disagreement about a budget item, and I was not going to cite a number until I saw the evidence. And when I saw the evidence, I realized that she was correct in the number that she gave. So I apologize for that. We definitely disagree on some other things, but that I owe an apology for. I do not personally know the young man who was assaulted by the police officer, and I think that unfortunately, too many of us feel like we have to know the person in order for it to be an emergency. In order for it to matter, you gotta know the person. But that could be us. That could be our child.
Right.
I think that, you know, in a country that so easily forgets us, that so easily can see us killed, shot, hit, whatever, and move on as if it was a dead dog in the street. When we come to Benton Harbor and we have a commissioner, a commission, a city council that is the one that we have, a mayor who we have, a police chief that we have, we need to start looking at who we are. And it's sad that when I say that, people get offended when I say, remember who you are. A city manager that we have. We presented an opportunity to create a racial equity department, and that's been kicked down the road. But it's a policy that led to this. A policy that said it's okay to hit this man in the head so he can reset his thinking. This country is built on policies that tells everyone to forget about us. It's time to change those policies. It's time for us to start taking it seriously and stop acting like, oh, somebody's out for money, somebody. No, we're tired of people being hurt, killed, ignored. We are in the center of a storm. They have used riots to come in and get money for the police departments and to take over the city. And we're on the cusp of that if we don't do something about it and give people a smart choice. So I'm asking you, do something smart. This man needs to be fired and possibly arrested for assault and battery.
May I stand, please? Because my knee, I'm having problems with my knee. Thank you, and I do speak loud. Thank you all. I too am here on behalf of the concern. I work in the community at the whole school, and one of the gentlemen spoke almost what I would have said. What do the kids have to look forward to? What do the kids of this community have to look forward to? And I wish that the older kids were here so they can hear and to we're gonna do all that we can to motivate them. But anybody that knows me knows that I work with youth and I'm an advocate for young people. But they need to know the truth, and I'm one that's not going to lie to them, and I will tell them the truth. And we all have a sense of responsibility. If we want the kids to respect the judicial system, which we are supposed to, amen? We're all supposed to respect the judicial system, and God has called them to be ministers. In case you didn't know, police officers, you're called to be ministers, and it's a high calling. That's right. And you can be a corrupt minister, or you could be a minister of God and handle people like you're supposed to, or like you want your children to be handled. So we are here to do a work, and it's going to get done. And I'm working with in support of the Sharp Foundation. And you know, we respect people. I hold men in high regard. I don't try to usurp authority. I respect men, but men, you got to come on up too. Some of you men need to come up from the back and cry loud and spare not and lift up your voices, because if you don't do it, this community who I advocate, I went to Benton Harbor High School. I have a sense of ownership and responsibility to the school. To this city. I work in the school system here in this city, and I am very concerned about the African American male. Very concerned about our boys. And if we don't do something, someone's just gonna sit back and our garb, proper garb, and looking good, talking good, and not doing anything. And we're sick and tired of it. Something has to be done about the situation. When I looked at that video, I don't know this young man personally, but I'm going to get to know him. But it hurts so bad. How can you look over something like that? I'm just saying whoever it is. I don't know who it is, whoever it is. How can you look over something like this? Something needs to be done, or something will be done. And if you don't know what I'm referencing to concerning the scripture, is in Romans chapter 13. It talks about how we as a people supposed to have high regard for them, but they also have to walk worthy of their calling. Thank you. Amen.
Go ahead, go ahead.
Good evening. I'm here tonight because I have a son, and I did watch the video several times. It was hard for me to watch it, and I thought maybe I'm not seeing something that it was stated that it was justified, and I that's hard for me. I just think because this is not the first time, it's not going to be the last time. This is not new to this area. This is something that has happened for too long, for way too long. We know it, we see it, we've witnessed it, but we're not coming together to do what we need to do. We have to take a stand. We have to wake up. We have to do what's right for our people, for people in general. It's not right. Yes, it was wrong for the young man to run from the police. It's always wrong, but it doesn't warrant anyone to be beat in their head or abused any kind of way. I do not have a lot of respect for leadership in this city. I will never disrespect, but when someone can look you in your face and lie and know that they're lying to you, our leaders, I just don't have a lot of respect. But like I said, I'll never disrespect. We have to do something. That video shows the young man on the ground. I did not see him resist or do anything to justify being punched in his head. It was your son, but it's going to be one of our sons the next time. Thank you.
My name is Helen Johnson, and I've seen it on video. Can I just stand, please?
Yes, ma'am.
I've seen it on video. It hurt me to my heart.
Yes.
The Bible says, train up a child the way he should go. And then when us parents whoop our children, we got to go over to the courthouse and answer to the judge. No matter how we whoop them, we shouldn't have whooped them that way, but they can come and do what they want to do outside. See, we get bothered me because in August, they whooped mine the same identical way, right there in front of Qatar's at the service station. Yeah, he was wrong, but he didn't resist the rest. They shot him up. You should have seen his face. And then when I went over to the courthouse, sitting behind the police, when they called my son all bruised up and everything, it was funny to them. They laughed about it. It was funny to them. They laughed about it. And thank God one of the sheriffs was sitting right next to me. And I threw thumbs up at my son. He said, "That's your child?" I said, "Yes, sir." Well, guess what? If we train them up the way they should go, when they should be punished, when we should whoop them, when we should have them to obey us, and we get over there in St. Joe for child abuse, What did they do? When they beat my son up, I got videos of it. Thank God I didn't have to have a lawyer. The legal aid lawyer gave me the video. Other people were video. The police told me, get away, get away, get away. Okay, your technology done messed you up. Okay, excuse me? Your technology messed you up because everybody got a video these days. And believe me, you know what they do? They video. But let me tell you something. That's my son. And all y'all that got some children, guess what? Whether they're good, bad, or whatever they is, the mother carry them now, mom, birth them in the world. And if they your good child, they your good child. And if they your bad child, they still belong to your child. And I know mine was trained up right. I ain't gonna say that he wasn't. But when they were gang banging, when he started gang banging, I went to Benton Township, Benton Harbor Police, and all the rest of it. We don't have no gangs in our community. Well, you were lying because you had all kind of gangs in the community in 1980 something and stuff like that. But that's still my child, and I'm gonna sit down. I got the video. Like I said, when they showed Michelle child, it reminded me of how across from Qatar, they beat him so. They took him to the emergency room. He done went to the doctor. I got some doctor bills, which they say they ain't gonna pay, and stuff like that. But they whooped him unmerciful. But if I had to whoop him unmerciful, guess what? You had me in court. And guess what? I would have been doing some time for chastising my own child. So that ain't got no good chastising either.
Good evening, everybody. About 20-something years ago, I had an incident with the police. During that time, the chief of police was Milt Aggie. And at that time, the director, McGinnis, was a rookie. And he know what I'm saying. I ain't got nothing against you or nothing, but let me explain it to you. I had to go to we went to Reverend Berry Church to explain these ordeals. I had a gun put in my face. And then Marcus Watson was, at that time, the chief of police. Also, something was done about it. Matter of fact, I talked with Commissioner Singleton about it. But let me say this here. We have two former chief of police in our audience. One is our commissioner, one is Roger Lane. That's when things going good, got good. But let me say this to you. The most three powerful men right now is the city manager, chief of police, and the mayor. And there's something that has to be done about it because it's very irritating. This is the thing is, at that time, when all that corruption was in the police department was bad. It was very bad. Matter of fact, it was so bad, they covered this stuff up with my situation, gave me a letter of apology, trying to keep me from suing and all these kind of things. We had good police officers that was under the leadership of these chief of police. Hands was tied, couldn't say nothing. I got tape recorders and all this of this stuff. But let me say this to you. It's very important for us as a community to get on top of this, but it's more important for you all to get on top of this. Now, I'm gonna say this, Mr. McGinnis, when I talk with you, and I said, don't become like that, like Aggie, and I meant that. I've been knowing you for a long time. This is the thing that has to be done in your police department. A lot of these police officers, they're young, gun-ho, whatever you want to call it, just want to jump on somebody. Somebody gonna kill them. Somebody gonna kill one of the police officers before what they did. And then what you gonna say then? But this is the thing. These police officers don't have good training. They don't have good social skills, people skills. They don't have that at all. And then what it is, they target us. They target us. But now, I'm gonna say this to you. When Ron Singleton was the chief of police, they brought in David Walker. David Walker came in, I'll close by saying this. They got that training. Things was better, mayor, city manager, and McGinnis, public safety director. Let's get back to what we need to do for somebody, for one of y'all get killed. I thank you very
Point
much.
of order, thank you.
Jane Wilhite.
Good evening. Good evening, ma'am. My name is Jane Wilhite. I'm an advocate for kids and also black men. Seen a lot, heard a lot. I'm 76 years old. Seen a lot of stuff. Amen. And I'm looking around. I'm seeing some real powerful looking men and women. What are you gonna do? I seen that video. I heard the lady say the man didn't have no business running. I didn't see it that way. Seemed like he was running for his life. Mayor, you need to see that video if you have not seen it. If you don't see it tonight, go see it. You understand? I'm so glad he ran in the direction that he ran in. Because had he ran in the opposite direction, we'd probably be down here talking about how he was killed. Amen? The police officer, and I'm trying my best all down through the years. I've tried my best to have the highest regard for police officers, for the judicial system, but I've sat in courtrooms. I've been in the presence of police officers, seeing how they function, how they operate. And it's not fair. I have 3 sons of my own. I have 6 children, 3 girls, 3 boys, 19 grandchildren, and 40 and counting great grandkids. And do you know how I have to pray? God, cover them with your blood. Because these people out here ain't care nothing about it. And I feel sorry for the mother. It's something to look at, seeing how that man was beat up in the face and hair all pulled, and they were trying to criticize him for trying to get those things out of his back. That stuff hurt. Yes, if the little can't tase me, I probably ain't gonna tell what I might do. But anyway, y'all, leaders, and I have the authority to say it. I'm an evangelist, and I'm one of God's teachers. Amen. I have the authority. God give me the authority to say this. Leaders, you're going to reap what you sow. The Bible said, be not deceived, for God is not mocked. Whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. Amen. Police chief, man, look at the video and look at it with a clean heart, a clear heart. That man don't have any business on force. I heard about some things he did, putting cuffs on 12-year-olds and 7-year-olds. That man ain't got no business on the police force. And for you all that are in the church, search that man's history. Search his history. No, you'll be surprised what you come up with. But I'm saying to the leaders, Mayor, do something about it. And I'm not doing this in no arrogant way. I mean it from my heart. I love all of you. God bless. That man was running for his life. Yeah.
Well, I said I wasn't going to say anything tonight, but I was one of those kids, 16 years old, beat down in the police station downstairs. Went to prison at 17 years old. Jackson Penitentiary, Marquette Penitentiary. So you guys can act like all of this is something you can just wash over. Like you get a chance to wash over a lot of things that happen. This is serious, and I'm not recommending anything other than the fact that we need to come together as one. We're talking about street people, church people, white folks. They need to hurry up and catch up with us, because the system that we live in under is not going to work. Can somebody tell me when the meek is going to inherit the earth?
I'd like to thank everyone who participated in citizens' comments, public participation. This brings us to the next item on our agenda, the medical marijuana provisioning center applicant.
Honorable Mayor, with all due respect, I do think that somebody needs to say something. This is not time for us to interview nobody, start head shaking when you got a whole community that needs an answer. At least somebody say something. Because we're gonna sit there for 2 hours and head shake. And these people who voted you in ain't gonna get an answer. So somebody needs to say something. We're looking at it, we're gonna investigate it, something needs to be said.
Say something again.
Cause I can leave, I don't need to head shake.
Have you relinquished the floor?
Thank you, Honorable Mayor, you got the floor back, thank you, sir.
I'll make a motion then that we suspend the rules.
Support.
If you want to make a comment, because at the end of the day, I understand what.
Can you speak in the mic? Tell me what you
Support.
said.
I was just saying, I understand what Commissioner Seats is saying, but at the same time, we do have a process, so we would have to suspend our rules in order to do anything separate. So the reason why we don't respond, the mayor will actually speak to that, but because of how, I understand how the community feel and just the emotions that's running high. But at the same time, there are some things that we do have to do to be able to speak to anything. And so in order to do that, we would have to suspend the rules and then for him to be able to respond to what Commissioner Seats is saying. I don't think the entire commission needs to respond at this time, but I feel like if the mayor wants to respond, we would have to suspend the rules. And that is a process that we need to follow in order to do what we're supposed
Is
to do.
that what you're doing? Is that a motion?
So I will make a motion to suspend the rules and give the mayor an opportunity so that we can continue the business of the city.
Thank support.
This is a very important business of the school.
I understand, but I'm saying all of it. All of it.
Motion is made by Commissioner Henderson. It is supported by Commissioner Adams. Madam Clerk.
Mayor Pro Tem Seats,
Yes.
Commissioner Henderson,
Yes.
Commissioner Edwards,
Yes.
Commissioner Isom,
Yes.
Commissioner Adams,
Yes.
Commissioner Harrelson,
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton,
Yes.
Commissioner Henry,
Yes.
Mayor Muhammad.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. First of all, I'd just like to say that my concerns go out to the mother who I have spoken with in detail and at length. And she has spoken with her son, and an official complaint has been filed, which from that point must be investigated and looked into at the direction of the Office of the City Manager in conjunction with the police department. And after an investigation or a thorough look into the complaint, then a response will come from the Office of the City Manager in conjunction with the Department of Public Safety headed by Mr. Dan McGinnis. I will say that it is a serious matter.
Yes, it is.
But it's not a time, I don't believe, to use it to inflame. You have a young man who was 27 who I had in school. I know Michael, and I worked with Michael when he was a teen. So I want to see him whole and on the straight path. And when it's a lot of chaos and confusion and finger pointing and blame game. Nobody wins. So I just would ask that the process be respected. I do have confidence that it will be looked at, and myself one, because I'm going to see to.
That's good. That's good. All right, that's what we say.
That the matter be examined carefully.
That's good. That's good.
But I would also ask that we look at the whole picture, because it's a teaching moment and a learning opportunity, because there is a responsibility on the citizen and resident, but there's also responsibility on staff and public safety.
Yes.
And when we work together and we all obey the law, then that's when we have a peaceful and safe community to live in. So thank you for your concern. Thank you for coming out, and we most definitely will address the matter swiftly.
All right. Swiftly. All right.
Thank you for your leadership, man.
We like to move forward with the agenda item here, the medical marijuana provisioning center applicant. Could you please step forward?
Good evening, commissioners. Give me a second to get set up here, get a little presentation for you guys. No, we had some issues, so we'll see how it goes. It's my son up here from Colorado saying hello to you guys. Hold on one second.
Can we get it back there as well?
Can we get him back there, please? Try.
There it is. There it is, there it is.
It's my screensaver.
Oh, that's what that is.
Congratulations.
All right, ready to get started, guys?
All right.
Are you ready?
Well, I thought it was gonna be tough to go after those high school kids with the history report, but it was much harder to go after what just took place. So catching my thoughts here, and first of all, I wanted to say thank you guys for all the commissioners here, the mayor, city manager, Singleton, Mary Alice. It's been a long road for Novo to get to this spot here, and we appreciate the support that you guys have given us. And we know that it's not it hasn't been an easy road, and we know that your work and your service to this community a lot of times goes unappreciated, like many things in life. And I just wanted to say, from the Novo perspective, we understand that this has been a difficult process, and there's a lot to look through. And marijuana can be scary, and I think it's a little bit fitting that we did go behind the history kind of kids having to do with the calendar. And the reason I say that is because we have made history here once again in Benton Harbor with Novo getting our Class C licenses and our extraction licenses. And so I know it's getting late, and I'm just going to kind of breeze through this and try not to belabor it too much. But again, we appreciate you guys sticking in with us and giving us this opportunity here in Benton Harbor. As I've said before, I've been getting to know a lot of you guys, and we are here because we believe in this community. We want to be a part of it. We've had plenty of opportunities to be in other places, and so we are a part of this community now, regardless of whether or not we're awarded one of the provisional licenses. The little PowerPoint that we're going to show you, I think, will kind of solidify your decision to make it so that we will have a provisional here. It makes the most amount of sense in the fact that we're going to add 60 plus jobs to this community right away, and having a provisional is going to help secure those jobs. And so let's go through the PowerPoint here. So as you guys can see, this up here is just really just our logo that will represent our retail location. We changed our branding around.
Pardon me, we can please turn the lights.
I only turn them off when I told them to turn them off. Turn them off.
Yeah, the meeting is being streamed live via YouTube, and there's viewers, and the room will be totally black. So if we can just suffer the light, but for the sake of those viewing online, we want to keep the light in the room.
So as you guys know, our location, 107 Water Street, we think is the best location in town. Plenty of parking. Again, that's our new logo up there. Novo is will be our retail brand here locally, and as you know, Benton Harbor will be our headquarters. This photo here, aerial photos, just shows you that the location is centrally located within the town. And I think the significance of that is there will be people coming in this community to shop at our establishment, and they're gonna have to come into the middle of town, and they'll have to leave. So that will promote other businesses to have foot traffic and other sales. Here's a picture, kind of a rendering of what the facility will look like with our brand on it. Not planning on doing anything gaudy at all. It's going to be a high class establishment. We love the building. We have an option on it and hope to purchase it and, continue to refurbish it and make it look top notch. As you can see to the left, just as a representative of our products line that we will have. As you know, we were awarded extraction license, processing licenses, you call them here in Michigan. And that will be kind of what our product looks like. We'll be selling that to other retail locations around the state. That will also provide for more jobs than what we originally thought, having to do with sales, packaging, labeling, transporting, all these things that will, function out of our Alrico property. And but this will be obviously our retail location. This is a kind of a rendering of the floor plan. This isn't going to be a hole in the wall. This is going to be a high-end facility. As you can see, we've got a safe room. Safety is number one for us. Been doing this a long time, and providing safety is really important. And I think it's important that we talked about this before, but our facility will be full of cameras everywhere. Outside, obviously inside, that's the mandated by the state laws. But what we have found in Colorado, my state, is that typically the community around where the establishment is usually gets safer because of the cameras and because of the foot traffic. And that's just based on historical data from Colorado. As you can see to the right, just briefly to my right, you'll see what the inside will look like with display cases, branding, etc. This is just kind of a rendering to show that Novo has statewide momentum, and so our headquarters is here in Benton Harbor. We want to keep it that way, but this is where we're located around the state so far, and we have plans to get further established in this state. But I would tell you that this is, again, this is our home, and executing our business plan here is critical for jobs, for our business, and for kind of the moving forward as far as the viability of our business. Our role in the community. We're bringing new jobs and new careers to Benton Harbor, teaching new skills in a new industry. So that is something that we feel like having both processing, cultivation, and a retail location will allow us to really have what we call a vertically integrated business. And that will, again, create safety in our business and our ability to sustain our business, because at the beginning, yes, their prices are high, but eventually it gets to be like any other market. It's a commodity. You have to monetize the product, and having all three licenses allow us to monetize the product properly. We're going to increase revenue generated in Benton Harbor. We're going to give a percentage of sales on top of the taxes that are already that play here, as well as local charities. We've already been talking with people in the community that have local charities, and we are looking to participate on that front. We'll work with the community to determine which charities to support. We will provide medical, dental, and vision benefits to all full-time employees. It's a big thing for us. We just started doing that this year back in Colorado, so it's always tough when you're out spending a lot of money and not generating any capital to provide those benefits. But this particular industry is growing really quickly, and what we have found is if we don't offer that, we're not going to find quality people. So we're going to extend that here, obviously, to Benton Harbor from day one. So career opportunities. This is really where I want you guys to focus on. Again, I'm going to try to be quick. You can see up here, this really identifies 60 different jobs that we will be hiring for within this community. And there's been talk about who we're going to hire. Well, we're not shipping a bunch of people in to hire. We're hiring right here directly. We will be bringing some of our qualified people out here to train, to set the facility up for success. We will have headquarters here from living headquarters as well, but pretty much 90% of all the people will be here local residents, and we are, with help with other community leaders here, we are getting stacks of resumes, and the overwhelming response that Novo's had from day one we started coming here is great. Oftentimes I'll be at a basketball game or something with my kid, and I'll get a call from Benton Harbor, and I'll think, who is it? Is the mayor going to call me? No, it's not the mayor. It's some person looking for a job. It happens at least weekly. So people are very, very excited to have Novo here. And so just go down this list: facility managers, administrators, head growers, technicians, harvest managers, metric administration, inventory managers, facility managers, HR, provisional officers. Understand that the majority of these jobs are all in the Alrico cultivation site. So the particular the provisionals that you have here, if they're not a standalone, if they are a standalone business, they're not going to provide that many jobs. This is where the bulk of the jobs is going to come from. It's going to come from our cultivation in Alrico, which we hope to expand at some point. And then we will get jobs at the processing level, which again is at Alrico. And then very fewer jobs will be actually at 107 Water Street. So you're talking about, out of the 60 jobs, you're talking about 4 or 5 at the retail location, and the rest are going to be at Alrico. And so the way my sales pitch to you guys is this is going to secure those jobs. Having a business here that is vertically integrated is going to secure these jobs. We have, 11 acres out there, and we hope to expand that property rapidly as hopefully we get into adult use at some point, because we will need adult use at some point if we're going to have 4 retail locations in this town, or 4 provisionals in this town, or nobody will make it. That's just a fact. So to move on here, this is a rendering of what our product line will look like. And again, this will be sold to other provisionals around the state. We manufactured with good manufacturing practices using supercritical CO2 extraction at our Alrico facility, which is coming along very, very nicely, which I will show you guys some pictures. We were out there today, and it's coming around a little faster than what we thought. And so we're excited to get moving. So far, we have, well, I would say at the end of May, we'll have invested $9 million into this community with our cultivation site over there. So I don't know what shook me more. Definitely shakes me a lot to say that, because we put a lot of faith in this community to invest that kind of money. And so we need your support. It's not even something we want at this point. We need your support in order to make that money back, provide the jobs that are necessary to help the community and drive tax revenue. We estimate 29 million in estimated gross sales is what our estimate is. We've always been very very conservative about putting those numbers out there. But I know that you're going to see a lot of numbers. And this number is really based on cultivation. It's not based on anything that's going to happen at the dispensary or the provisional level. Provisional level, not anywhere close to that. Let's put it that way, of revenue that will be generated. I can assure you that. Again, we're cultivating in Alrico, processing Alrico, 107 Water Street, combined 60 jobs is conservative, and that's our goal. Next picture here is just kind of showing you guys what we're up to at the Alrico property. It is a state-of-the-art cultivation facility. One of the things that Novo has, one of our companies is a LED lighting company. So one of the things that we also do is we manufacture some of the highest end LED lights in the world. We think they're the best. And this facility will showcase those lights. Now, we are working in Illinois, so we've gone after some social equity license with partners in Illinois. We're working on having our LED light manufactured in the south side of Chicago. And there may be some type of manufacturing that is done on this property as well. We have sold about $4.5 million to date in Michigan alone with our LED light. So we were primarily here in Michigan with that LED light. And so the light eventually will be like a smart light. And we say, what does that mean? That means that the light sits over the canopy and interfaces with a phone or computer and tells us what the plants need, what they don't have. Are there pests? Do they need water? Is there a phosphorus issue? Is there an issue with the diet, et cetera, et cetera? So understand we are a vertically integrated cannabis company that doesn't just look to cultivate cannabis. That's kind of what we like to do. But in order to do that, we have to spend $9 million on a building. We have to manufacture lights in Malaysia, et cetera, et cetera. Just some more pictures here of the El Rico property. Want to talk about business experience here. I think this is a pretty important one. We have 30 plus years in business experience amongst us, probably more, but we didn't want to date ourselves. We have 23 years in cannabis directly, from our partners, Philip Chin and our compliance director, myself, of course, which means that we have been following proven methods, and we have followed the rules is the bottom line. We wouldn't be here if we didn't follow the rules. And so following the rules is making sure that the product is tested clean. Following the rules is making sure that there are no security breaches. Following the rules is making sure that your paperwork is sufficient. Following the rules is making sure that you're compliant with the state, and so on and so forth. So what that allows us to do with all these years' experience and with our manufacturing of our LED lights, it puts us in a situation where we have a vast network of industry professionals. And so people, we have facilities here in Colorado, here in Michigan now, people that we knew in Colorado that are using our lights. So we have other model facilities here that are up and running now that we consult on and have our technology in. So some of these are just focused directly on the retail interest we've had in around the country, mainly in Colorado and Oregon. The clinic was the first place that I ever worked in cannabis space. It's a company started by friends of mine. Colorado Product Services was a company that I started that ended up being one of the largest license holders in the state. I sold it off pretty early, so I don't get all the credit for that, but it looks good on paper. Puddletown and Oregon's Finest were two of the top 10 retail locations, provisionals in Oregon, and they're very different. One is in a bad part of town, the other one's in a high-end part of town, and that is owned by our partner, Philip Chin, who's unable to make it this evening. Colorado Harvest Company was ran by our compliance director, who still remains our compliance director, who helps us around this state and Illinois and other states with the licensing process, which can be very tedious. Security, it's our top priority, for sure. If you get your product stolen, you can't survive. So we have large vaults in the new facility that are extremely secure. We have a top-notch security company with Lang Security. We've got obviously all the compliant cameras, etc. So, we're trying to eliminate the opportunity for criminal activity and product diversion. We produce better, cleaner, and safer products. It's really important. Just to say that kind of sounds cheesy, but the fact is that if you're doing things right, you have to provide clean product. The testing, especially here in Michigan as well in Colorado, is very rigorous. And for that being said, you know, it's just something we pride ourselves in. And the business is always changing, and things are getting tougher. And building the facilities properly is the most important thing to have clean product. So then the last thing that I wanted two little quick things that I'll open up to questioning. You know, I just want to make the point again, guys, of what it means for us to have a vertically integrated business here. It secures the jobs that we have listed on that board and the jobs that will be at Alrico. We have really big plans in the future to have many more jobs, but we don't want to get over our skis here, and so we'll just leave it at that. One last thing that I wanted to kind of show up here, and this was something that we talked about earlier, and just going to play this video for you guys that we're kind of proud of, that was done by a local station. That kind of just shows the support that we have from the community.
All right. Thank everybody for giving us the opportunity tonight. I wanted to stress a few things. One of the things that we saw tonight from this meeting is the question about whether or not you're going to be a responsible citizen and a reasonable participant. And while we've already passed through 3 times under Section 6 and approved, so our fundamental qualifications, I believe, have already been met. But when you're looking at us versus any others, because we know we have a limited number of these provisionals that we're going to have to deal with, and the commission is going to be responsible for trying to decide which of the qualified applicants get that. When you look at this operation, I think one of the things you have to say is, all right, when we look at Section 6, when we compare it to others, one of the things you want to say is this going to be a sustainable operation? Particularly at the retail sales level, it's just like opening a store. Well, if you don't have the product, you can't do that. So the question really for Novo is, why would you give Novo a provisional? You've already given these 3 others. Why wouldn't you do something different? Well, one of the reasons why you would give it to Novo is that so that you complete the overall business plan. Because business plans that are just a piece of the pie here or a piece of the pie here, a car doesn't go down the road without wheels. A car can't work without an engine. This is a complete business. And in order for this to be a sustainable business for the long term, not for the moment, because what have we seen in the other states? We've seen that as the market matures, the excitement goes away. And then is this still going to be a good business that can be produced and that will continue to provide jobs? Or is this just another momentary thing? Well, what we know from this business is business didn't come in here and ask you for a tax write-off or an abatement or anything. The taxes that will be collected from day one. This is a business that has experience, capital, and commitment. And you have asked with the prior pieces to put that capital commitment out in front. Before we have anything, show me the money, like they say in the movie. Okay, well, that part's already been done. But now you're stuck with one final question. And tonight was a great example. Are you going to be a responsible citizen or aren't you? Are you going to be accountable to us or aren't you? What you know is, sure, the leadership's got to come from Colorado because nobody's doing cannabis in this state. So you have to bring people from the outside to get the experience level. But the money's already been spent here. The commitment has been made here. And what we'd like you to do is to give us the rest of the wheels for the car so that it can be a sustainable long-term business operation, long-term jobs, so that people who are employed here, that are trained here, and that continue to work here. And that this business, as it spreads throughout the community, but if it doesn't have the engine, or if it doesn't have the tires, if it doesn't have this last piece, it's like a jigsaw puzzle with an incomplete picture. And that's really what we're after. We'd like to complete the picture. And
we've already demonstrated the commitment. And what we ask you to do is give us an opportunity to be the responsible citizens.
Thank you. Chair recognizes Commissioner Anderson.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. Thank you for the presentation. I just have one question. Are there stock opportunities available for residents that want to buy stock in your company? That's my question I have.
We're a privately held company, so the answer is no. However, we are a kind of employee-owned company, and so we do offer incentive packages, shares for employees. So every manager within our company at this point has been offered shares, and that will continue. I started this company as kind of a byproduct of other cannabis companies that I started that were LLCs. And what I found in those LLCs were that everyone was just standing around waiting for a distribution. And so this Novo is a vision of the C Corp, and the vision is for us to have shares offered to our employees and to be an employee-owned company.
So all 60 employees, if they want to purchase stock, they'll be able to purchase stock, but because it's not a publicly held company, it's private, then they won't.
Yeah, no one will be able to purchase stock at this time, but all the managers and people who are with the company long-term will be offered an incentive package that has shares that will be given to them that is vested over a period of time.
So will that ever be an option for
It might
your
be.
locations?
It might be. It might be. You know, we're not looking to go public. We want to stay privately held. And
So is there an opportunity or something like that if you were doing something for Benton Harbor, people who live in Benton Harbor at some point? I'm just asking.
Yeah, I think we would leave that on the table for sure. Like I said, the spirit of Novo is to be an employee-owned company, period. And then the reason I'm kind of open both. The reason we do that is because it's to incentivize our staff, and we want this company to be a platform for more than just us, but for our employees and others.
Thank you.
Chair recognizes Mayor Pro Tem Seats.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. Excuse me, getting choked up on the presentation. The jigsaw was priceless. The picture, questions I have are numerous. One is, who are you utilizing to hire your employees? Is there an agreement that you have? But I do want to appreciate you for hiring. You definitely got a black security firm, and that's good. I do appreciate that. And who are you using to hire the rest of the people, as far as your human resources? Are you partnering with anybody in the community? Next thing is I want to know, because you guys said you've invested a lot in the community already. What events have you invested? Have you invested in any events in this community that has happened that we need to know about, just to show your good faith and all you've done as far as community-wide? And then the last question I have for you is, sometimes being first is good, and sometimes being first might be bad. But you guys have put a lot in it. And I guess put your best foot forward. But I do want to know who's going to be doing the hiring. And I heard that percentage, and that gap kind of gapped me, because out of 60 jobs, you're bringing people in to train to get off the ground. And I want to know, what's that percentage of real employees that will come from Benton Harbor? I'm not talking about just starting. I'm talking about probably months down the road. So again, what have you invested in for events in this community? And will you be willing to provide any kind of resources towards drug addiction, or because it definitely is going to have to be addressed, and also racial equity? Thank you.
Well, there's a lot of questions in one. Let me see if I can remember. It's late. So first of all, as far as the hiring goes, you know, we've talked with different people in this community. I would say about 90% of the jobs that we will offer here will be from residents, or we offered up to residents. You know, what we want to be really careful for, and because we got in trouble this way here, is we came into this community and tried to hire all the local people, right? And what happens when you hire a local person that's never designed a high-end cultivation site? You know what ends up happening? There's issues that end up happening. And so, point is that we have to secure our company. And I get really uncomfortable, you know, kind of being asked like those types of questions, because we have shown that we want to help this community and that we want to hire locally, and where else are we going to hire from? But we've got to sustain our business, and that's the most important piece to us right now. And, you know, when we plan on doing a job fair, you know, we have established a relationship with Mr. Joy Bell and talked to him about his foundation that he has, and we've had numerous conversations with him on that. We are pre-revenue, and we are fighting for our lives right now to get this facility up and running and to get some cash flow going. And so we're in a fight. You know, this isn't a get rich quick scheme, and don't think that it is, because it's not. And so, you know, we plan on hiring local. I know my wife serves on different boards back in Colorado for drug addiction, so I think that's something that we'll definitely participate in.
Did you get a chance?
I was just gonna, if I could, I do apologize for ignorance, because it's not fine. I didn't interrupt nobody. I'm asking the question: how many jobs do you see starting off? I mean, if it's cleaning a toilet, or if it's washing a water fountain, cutting grass,
Well,
it has to be something that entry level somebody can do.
Yeah, and it was up on the presentation. So for sure, there's a large, I would say about 25% of the jobs are entry level, if basically, and that really comes from trimming and cleaning, like you said. Trimming is something that can be taught very quickly, and so we're looking probably about 20 employees pretty quickly, and then I would say by the end of this year we would be up to our 60, 65 employees.
Chair recognizes Commissioner at Large Adams.
No, I was just hoping that everybody else was going to get an opportunity, because Jerry had his hand up before he even spoke.
Okay, thank you. So for those who, if that's why it's good to just, you know, if we do it in decency and order, then, you know, we can go through this process as quick as possible. Chair recognizes Second Ward Commissioner Edwards.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. My question is really not a question. It's, I guess, trying to get agreement what's going on in my head. Speaking about the people that's coming in to train, I am familiar with OSHA and all that stuff. That, I guess it depends on the severity of that position, on how much they have to know about OSHA. Other than that, on a basic level, with the OSHA and all the other chemical positions, what are you looking at as far as being comfortable with somebody coming in there and handling that's being trained from here? What would be your, I guess you did say up to 60 by the end of the year, but how does that process work? Do you train one at a time, or do you train all that you need at that particular moment?
One quick thing I'll say is that for the top kind of, what do you call it, positions that require the most care, whether it be OSHA or someone dealing with the nutrients feeding or what have you, those people will be trained in Colorado with us. Same way with the provisional manager will be trained in Oregon with our partner there. That, to answer your question, there's really going to be just a handful of them, and then from there, local people will be trained below them, and in some cases, we'll hire locally, and we'll bring them out to Colorado.
So while they're going out to Colorado, you will have somebody here working until they get ready and
Yes.
come back.
Commissioner, it's very similar, like if an auto parts store would come into this market or any of the outer franchise companies. They usually bring managerial people at the high level, and then they train locals, and they're here for a period of time, and then they go back. That part of the business isn't any different than any other. Again, we're lucky that we have an experience level, and we already have an established business in another market where the people can be trained, shown what it looks like in operation. That's one of the difficult things when you try and open a store that's never sold this like this before, is how do you do that? Well, we have an example that we can take people to and we can show them. And then those people bring that knowledge back to the marketplace. Just like if we were one of the auto parts stores, one of my kids I grew up with, his job was actually to go around and train local people in the marketplace to then run that store, and then he would move to the next store. Here, when you're also talking about the safety factors, again, safety protocols become very important. These are intoxicants. These are things that if you're not trained to do it right, bad things can happen. And that's where, again, when you get back to an experience level, even at the provisional level, not just at the production level, it's important to have an experienced crew, and this group is an experienced crew.
Thank you.
I'll just add one thing too. We haven't gone that far we've got a lot of resumes that we're picking up. We don't know how many applicants we're gonna get. We don't know where we're gonna bring them in. We don't know the answer to that question quite yet. Because when we start the facility, at the beginning, we just need a smaller amount of people. It's not until 4 months into it that we really become fully operational, that we need to have more employees. So that.
Thank you. Thank you, Your Honor.
Chair recognizes Commissioner at Large Adams.
Thank you. And again, thank you. I've learned so much, and when you first showed up in Benton Harbor and gave a presentation, I did my research on your company, and I read through the documentation that you presented for each of us, and I'm very impressed. I'm impressed because I know of the value of the quality of life that cannabis gives to those that need it. Just like morphine does what it needs to do for those that need it. Less safer though, cannabis. I think it's, for me personally, it's just sad and unfortunate that my baby girl did not get an opportunity to try it, to test it, to see if it would improve or help the ails that she had with epilepsy. But I know there's kidney patients, asthma patients, this stuff is working. I don't know what it is, but it is needed, and it's going to shut some pharmaceuticals down across this country, if no others. But thank you for choosing Benton Harbor, and I'm glad that we're not the ones that are gonna have to do your process of hiring. That's for any person that's running a business, corporation, or whatever, that's your business to handle. And I'm glad to see that you have a professional manner in which you will do so. Thank you.
Anyway, back just for a second to go back, complimenting on what you're saying to Commissioner Seats as well, is that Novo doesn't intend to just turn the drugs loose in town and walk away from it, okay? That, again, when you're talking about committed and you're talking about a responsible citizen, right? Just like you see in the alcohol thing, they remind you, that cannabis is not for everybody, right? And the people that are at provision, even when we get it past just medical, but past medical into recreational, right? It's not for everybody, and everybody needs to be educated. We don't let our children drink alcohol. We're concerned about cigarettes. Cannabis should be taken seriously. And again, this goes back to, do you have an experienced operation who has worked in a different marketplace for more than a year? This is not somebody leaning back and going, geez, man, I want to open a pot store. Okay, these are people who have moved past that point to real business and real responsibility and real accountability for what? For putting their name on the building and being responsible for who comes in and out of the building. And in terms of, even in terms of security, right? You want to think about what are we doing inside of this community? Because what we don't want is what you see in other places sometimes, is where the businesses just turn that out, right? We don't want to be on, we don't really want to be on Jimmy Kimmel and talk about what happened before, but being a responsible, just like being a responsible liquor store, or being a responsible restaurant, or being a responsible any kind of business, being accountable beyond just your four walls.
Thank you. If there are no other, Chair recognizes Third Ward Commissioner Henry.
Thank you, Chair. I read your synopsis and it's some really thoughtful things that you are considering. One of them is avoiding consumption. I know that could definitely be the case because a lot of people don't get the medical grade from the street. So I'm glad to see that you guys have taken that in consideration. And I also see that the job descriptions and the qualifications did not change. I see that your numbers for possible jobs have changed, have grown, and that's good to hear. I'd like to ask the question about the pay. Are you going to pay prevailing wages, or how much? Because there's study after study that's talked about prevailing wages and how much people need to live in communities. So that's going to be important. And love the idea that you're going to give those benefits to full-time employees.
Well, to answer your question, yeah, I can just tell you what we've done in Colorado, and we've kind of set the standard for high pay, and we actually were, a municipality gave us a license because of that, because our pay grade was much higher. Again, it's hard to know, I mean, there's tough questions that you guys are asking me because we don't know when we're going to be operational. We don't know if we have a provisional. We don't know if we're going to be adult use. So there's all these questions that that may affect how much we can afford to pay or how many people we need to hire. So one of the things that we really like to do, and as being a part of this community, it will continue, but we like to be very transparent. And the last thing I want to do is overpromise and kind of underdeliver. And so, but to answer your question, yes, we are going to pay as high a wage as we can, and no one in our company, makes less than $15 in Denver. Hopefully, that will continue here. Right now, hopefully, there's a good runway for success for us, and hopefully we can, offer company shares and things like that to our employees, and also understand when you looked at the mitten on the board and shows where we are in the state. It's also important to understand that we don't want to be a one-trick pony in the sense of if you're going to rent an apartment complex or you want a lot of different renters, right? If you're commercial property, I come from real estate. That's my background. You want staggered leases, and so there's 4 provisionals in this town, and the town's only so big, and so this is just a spoke in our cog. Our real, our heart is that the Alrico property, and we're so proud of that property because of just revitalizing it and the way that it's coming together, and hopefully we can extend that property and get more licenses down the road and grow our business and pay higher wages and hire more people. That's our plan, and I'm here today to just one last time to let you guys know how committed we are to Benton Harbor, and again to let you guys know we know how this process has been difficult for you, and there's real issues that we all have to deal with the community and families, etc. And so again, I just wanted to tell you guys thank you for hanging in here with us, giving us a consideration.
Benton Harbor is a very distressed in a city in poverty. And the medical marijuana is a needed commodity for us. And I understand that discounts are available to Benton Harbor residents. They're medical. I understand that that's a consideration. And I'm asking if it could be more in the consideration. Could it be part of the procedure is to give Benton Harbor residents that have a medical condition a discount?
Those would all be good opportunities that we'd be able to facilitate through the granting provisional.
Beg your pardon?
Those, we need a provisional in order to do that. So yes, is that an opportunity? Yes, that is an opportunity. And again, to complete the picture, that's how we would be able to facilitate that. We would not be able to facilitate that coming out of Valrico or out of.
I understand that. We're talking about a provisional center here. So my question is, can you give our residents who own cars and have a medical condition and live in a community that's in poverty a discount?
So what I would just say in the past, and I know we can't commit to any of this stuff, but what I would say in the past is that we've always given local discounts, and that's just part of it. In Colorado, we give industry discounts for folks that work in the industry, but again, we can't sell out of Valrico. So
the answer is
I do have to just, I've tried to.
I'm just trying to get you.
Wait, because really you should be addressing the chair. I've tried to, just kind of let it flow. But when I do that, then it's now
Thanks
turns
for
into
checking
something
in on
else.
me. Check me
So
through
if you
the
could
chair.
just address.
Through the chair. Did I get an answer that the answer was that if they get a provision that they have consideration to give Benton Harbor residents a discount for their medical marijuana? And that's through the chair.
Why? Graciously thank you.
Thanks for doing it for me. 15 people that spoke before that.
Yes.
Yeah, that lets me know how you feel about me.
From my hearing of what has been said, at this time, there can be no permanent commitments or commitments to say.
I'm not asking you, Chair.
I'm
asking him to.
They've already stated that they cannot commit to saying that there will be discounts. However, they've said if a provisioning center license is granted, then they can explore some type of local discount.
Okay, on page 6.
I'm not going to,
Do I still have the floor, Chair?
No, ma'am.
Well, how did you take it from me?
Because I'm not going to allow for you to just continue to just question after question after question after.
That's what I'm supposed to do, Chair.
No.
Through the chair. On page 69 in your scenario, it says discount cannabis or cannabis products can be looked at with authorization. And that's the question that I brought up. If it's going to be something that, through the chair, answer that this is a consideration, and can we get that in writing, that is a consideration? That's all I'm asking through the chair. Because if you don't get it in writing, it doesn't happen. We might not be here 5 years from now or 10 years from now. And whoever reads this, whoever sees this, has to hold people accountable for what they say. That's why I want it in writing. That if they will give us that consideration.
And they said they cannot commit to that this time.
Okay, that's fine with me.
Correct?
Mr. Mayor, what we can say is that historically, the business operation in other states has done just what she's looking for. But as for a percentage number or the person who would get the discount or the manner in which you're simply too early in the business operation. You can say as a matter of history, this company has done exactly what the commissioner is questioning about in other markets.
And is that
There's
what you
no
want?
reason
That's
for
what you're
us to believe
saying?
it would be any different.
Is that what you're saying? Exactly what she wants?
Other than putting it in writing, saying it out loud, that this company has historically done the very thing she's looking
Because this is what I want you to understand.
This is their.
Everything that you say is recorded and it's going in minutes and it's voted on by this body. So just let's make sure whatever you're saying, because that isn't right. So I'm listening. I'm gonna close it right here. So she's asking, are you giving discounts?
So the answer is yes.
Okay.
That's the answer. I mean,
Thank you.
If it's a reward program, it's discount, we don't know but the answer is yes.
Does that satisfy your question?
He answered my question, and that's what all I needed was an answer. And they're not finished yet, please.
Chair
sir.
recognizes Mayor Pro Tem.
No, I have the floor, Chair. I'm not finished answering my question. You cannot just bully me, Chair. You gave me the floor, and I keep the floor until I release it.
We're not running that kind of meeting.
Well, we're not running with you bulldogging me either.
But
And
that's
my question
that's
through
the opposite of
And
what
my
you're
question
saying.
through the chair
You
is,
cannot bulldog the meeting by taking the floor and just.
you gave it to me.
But you can't just keep the floor.
I can keep it
without
as long
any
as
discretion.
Mayor Pro Tem keeps it.
Point of order, she could have asked a
Ask your question, please.
Thank you very much, Chair. Through the chair. If the LED lighting system, and you refer to it as Benton Harbor being the Midwest distributing hub for your system, and is that part of the 60 additional jobs that?
That is not.
That's not.
That is not part of the 60 jobs, no.
Okay.
So that would be a separate business.
That's correct. It already is. We haven't sold any cannabis.
But it is registered with the city of Benton Harbor.
It will be, yes. Yeah. The way that we have our business set up is it's almost like a franchise model, and each state, part of the overall platform is to have the distribution agreements in place for that.
So that business will have the same address as the Al Rico.
Yes.
But a separate business.
That's correct.
That'll be registered.
It's a distribution agreement that will be registered with our Michigan Novo company.
Is it a separate facility?
No. It will not be a separate facility at this time.
Thank you. There's no further questions. Chair recognition, this will be the last.
Thank you, Mayor. I didn't want to interrupt anybody, so I do appreciate it. My last statement on this question, and because of me and your relationship, is kind of hard to say anything about it, but I have to. 2 questions. We're in Denver, Colorado. We're down there, and the markings on the products, because some products are the same as kids' candy. You have peach chews, you have all kind of other things that look like it could be for a child. I would ask about labeling. And the second thing is, I want to say this, and I want to kind of make it kind of clear. When you have a plant in Mexico, it's hard to go tell them you're not going to hire any Hispanics. When you go to Italy and have a plant, you're not going to tell them you're not going to hire Italians. In Benton Harbor, there's a crisis as far as job, and you want preferential treatment. That's what you want. You want that from us. So when we come back and say preferential treatment for the residents, it's not a crime. And I understand what you're saying. You have to get up off the ground. But I remember a promise about higher staffing, helping to hire and to train And I hope 5 years from now, it looks a lot like Benton Harbor and not like other communities. We've been through this before, where people came and made us a promise, said they'll build you a hotel, give you water parks, and give you everything else. They sold us down the road. We gave them the wheels for the car, and they drove off with the car and the wheels. And so what I'm saying is, and I know it's your business, but when you come to us, you ask us for preferential treatment. So when we come back to you and have a suggestion, it's not that we're trying to put you out of business, but it's also the fact that we're not asking you for a hand out, we're asking for a hand up. And not just feeding the soup kitchen, killing food, to give pork chops, hot dogs, and that stuff down there. There's something greater Benton Harbor needs more than just handouts. And so I would just ask the question of the mayor through the chair about the markings on the product when the product becomes available to make sure it's kid safe. Because again, when I was in Denver, Colorado, they had peach chews and they had cookies and they had all kind of edibles, and it's flooded in Denver. The medical marijuana is flooded. They even have water. That's medical marijuana water in dispensaries. Will the markings be kid friendly or kid safe? And will you attempt for higher staffing that you said you're going to hire at the beginning, infancy, to help hire? I appreciate you guys again for coming out tonight. And please don't take it the wrong way. We're just giving suggestions.
No, we, absolutely. But let me answer, I'll answer both those and we can finish this up. You saw the branding that we had up there, and it's basically, we've gone with a very clean look that shouldn't really speak to anything that would market towards a child. In Colorado, they're not supposed to be that way, but the enforcement division there has gotten, it seems to me like they've gotten a little lax about that. And there is some things out there that are appropriate, but that will not be ours. We're looking for more of a mature brand.
Could I so just real quick, one point of that is with the compliance with the state, the packaging and the product must not be anything that would appeal to someone 17 or younger. So that's a state mandate, and they have to sign off on the packaging and they have to sign off on the product. So they're very strict about that because they don't want to go down the same road that's happening in other states. It's appealing to younger people, and we will make sure. We won't be able to sell the product if we're not in compliance.
As far as hiring local and higher staffing, we love Gwen. We love Roger Lang, who's our security guy. Hope he's still back here. So, we're part of the community now. We are going to hire local. Our thing is we're just not ready. We've been shelling out a lot of money, and we need to get our facility up and running, and that's just kind of where we are. So, but I can tell you that you have the commitment from me as the CEO that we are going to hire as many local people as we can. We may be coming to some of you guys for referrals, and we really want to. Last thing I'll say is, I'm kind of a hands-on guy. I've been here like 100 times in the past year and a half trying to get through this process. But we want to have a job fair. We want to get to know the community. We want the community to know us. That's who we are, and we're gonna and we want to be a part of the community. We don't want to liaison. We're not. We're hands-on, and that's the way it's gonna. That's just kind of the way it's gonna be.
And just one final comment. I want you to remember that I've shared the same zip code with you for 20 years. So while I wasn't born here, I wasn't born far from here. And what makes this company different, I think, than some of what we've all seen come to Benton Harbor and make promises is fundamentally this company did not come to you and say, give me a tax abatement, give me a tax deferral, give me money to come here, right? And thankfully, they asked me questions and I gave them candid answers from a person who shares the same zip code. So I do not think they came in here with their hands open. They are asking you for not special treatment, but the opportunity to do business here. And I think that they have the same open ears that you would expect me to have when we're standing next to each other as to your ideas. From any person on the commission or any other person that comes up on me on the street.
Thank you for your presentation. I would just say, lastly, that, Noble has the opportunity to be the first, which of course, that's a leadership position when you are first. So you can set a model of what a standard of integrity, honesty, and a thriving business, what it looks like in this industry, or another example can be set. But we hope that you'll be successful because your success is our success. I do appreciate that you have not come and asked for a brownfield, asked for an abatement. It's crystal clear to me that you're here to invest money, but I'm under no illusion you're here to make money. And that's okay, because hopefully, as you make money, you continue to invest not only in the business, but in the people, in the human resource, which is the best. So thank you, and you'll be hearing from us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor, Commission, staff, City Manager.
This brings us to the agenda items. Are there any items that should be separated from the consent calendar?
Yes, sir.
Chair recognizes Commissioner Adams.
The census, resolution for the census celebration event. No, let that go. The appointment of a sustainable, harbor working group. That's it.
Chair recognizes Mayor Pro Tem Seats.
Yes, Mayor, adopt a resolution approving a separate letter of protest from city residents for March 2020 board review. Adopt a resolution approving all starting dates. March 2020 board of review. And that's it. Thank you, Mayor.
I'd like to adopt a resolution approving the establishment of 2020 income limits and asset tests for the city of Benton Harbor. First resolution from the consent calendar. Adopt a resolution approving the reappointment to the Dollar Rock Board. Anthony Andrews. The second resolution, adopt a resolution approving approving the support of the Tigers Count Benton Harbor Community Fund Day 2020 Consensus Celebration Event. Is there a motion for the approval of the new motion is made by Commissioner Singleton, supported by Commissioner Adams. Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Henry,
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton,
Yes.
Commissioner Adams,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Seats,
Yes.
Commissioner Harrelson,
Yes.
Commissioner Isom,
Yes.
Commissioner Henderson, yes, Commissioner Edwards,
Yes.
Mayor Mohammed.
Yes.
Motion carries.
The first separated item is adopt a resolution approving the alternate starting dates for the March 2020 Board of Review. Is there a motion? Motion made by Commissioner Henderson, supported by Commissioner Harrelson. Is there discussion? Chair recognizes Mayor Pro Tem Seats.
Yes, Honorable Mayor, my question is, and it always has been, per the charter, we have a contractor, or is this gonna be handled by a contractor, or is it gonna be handled by an employee? The way that it seems, if we have a contractor and we don't have an employee, per the charter, the way this is set up and the way that meeting goes, it is for the commission employee, which is city assessor. And even in.
So what meeting are you talking about?
I'm talking about, started the alternate dates, it says, and when I'm reading this, and give me one quick second, Honorable Mayor, it's the memo for February 14th, 2020. It's not even referred to as the city assessor. It's referred to as assessor. So is this per the charter, going to be handled by a contractor, or is this an employee of the commission? Because per the charter, this will be done by the city assessor and not the contractor. Thank you, Honorable Mayor.
Well, I think it's all common knowledge that our city assessor, that office is ran by Mrs. Angela Story. But I think that the justification here says the City of Benton Harbor's Board of Review, the board is established by the city's charter, Chapter 9, Section 9.3, and Michigan General Property Tax Law, Act 206, 1893, as amended. The board reviews that annual assessment roll and hears appeals of real and personal property assessments. The board also corrects clerical errors and habitual mistakes of fact and homestead status relative to the current prior year's assessment rolls. The board, so where are you? Well, this is what's in front of us.
Chapter 9, Section 9.3, it also talks about who is the board review for the city. My question still is this: when we hired this position, we hired an employee, we did not hire a contractor.
I think that this is the wrong time.
Well,
I think we need that. That's a personnel finance.
But it's not really when it's
not relative to.
I think it is
approving an alternate starting date for March 2020 board of review. That's what's in front of us.
Well, if I can just have one more second, Honorable Mayor. So then when it is challenged, I just want to make it clear.
Thank you.
That we were asked, because this position is a commission employee.
Commissioner, you really.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor.
Thank you, sir. A motion has been made.
Support.
And it has been supported. Is there any other question or discussion before we vote on this item? Hearing none, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Edwards,
Yes.
Commissioner Hamilton,
Yes.
Commissioner Henderson,
Yes.
Commissioner Isom,
Yes.
Commissioner Henry,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Seats,
No.
Commissioner Adams,
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton,
Yes.
Mayor Muhammad.
Yes.
Motion carries.
The next resolution, adopting resolution approving the acceptance of letters of protest from city residents. I do ask, can we have noise in the audience at a very minimum, please, so we can conduct business? Is there a motion to adopt a resolution?
So moved.
Motion is made by Commissioner Henderson, supported by Commissioner Adams. Is there discussion? Chair recognizes Mayor Pro Tem Seats.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. Through the chair, is these letters of protest already been received from the city residents? If so, then I don't see anything that says we. Is it, how many was it? Was it 50? Was it 30? Is this corporations too? Only thing it says here is adopt resolution approving the acceptance of letters of protest from the city residents from March 2020 board review.
Chair recognizes City Assessor Story.
Contract.
This is not in reference to appeals that have already been received. What this is saying is that the law already allows non-residents to appeal their valuation to the March Board of Review in writing by letter. They do not have to personally appear at those meetings. The law does not allow for city residents to do that, to appeal by letter. They have to personally appear before the Board of Review if they wish to appeal their valuation. So what this resolution does is it allows a city resident to send in a letter, if they're unable or don't even wish to appear in person to the board of review. Is not aimed at anything specific. It's just saying, as a general policy, we will accept letters from any city resident that wants to appeal in that form.
Thank you. Chair recognizes Commissioner at Large Singleton.
Through the chair, the story you was basically saying that the resident is being afforded the same as an out of town person.
Correct.
There are no further comments. Hearing none, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Harrison,
Yes.
Commissioner Henry,
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton,
Yes.
Commissioner Isom,
Yes.
Commissioner Edwards,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Seats,
Yep.
Commissioner Adams,
Yes.
Commissioner Henderson,
Yes.
Mayor Muhammad.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Next resolution is adopt a resolution approving the establishment of 2020 income limits and asset tests for the city of Benton Harbor. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion is made by Commissioner Henderson, supported by Commissioner Adams. Is there discussion?
This, I'd like to speak on this item. This item was one of the items that also came through the legislative committee meeting, and we didn't have income guidelines, I don't think, or we needed to reestablish those, and so that's why that came through, but hopefully the assessor speak to that one as well.
So the board of review has the authority to accept applications of hardship from taxpayers on their homestead property where they live. Okay. And so what this does is we have to annually adjust the income guidelines so that when the board of review considers granting a hardship exemption, that they have a guideline. They can look at this chart and say, well, if you're a household of 4, then you need to be under this amount of income to be considered for this exemption. And so the income in front of you is the federal guideline used. And I mean, you guys do have the power to change those numbers, and we do not have to use the federal. However, you are not allowed to make it harder to qualify for the exemption, although you can make it easier. And so you have the power to lower those, but you cannot raise those.
Chair recognizes Commissioner Adams.
Thank you. My question was that I never got an answer to, was economically, when it comes to our community block grant dollars, the list that Ms. Story just spoke of about the guidelines of the federal, does that correspond with those that apply for home repairs or something, and they have to justify their income? Does that work together in correspondence with our plain economic development block grant dollars?
Sorry, I don't know anything about Ms.
I mean,
Jennings' job.
that was the answer that I wanted.
It's a different program.
I know they're different programs. Okay.
That's a valid
Somebody
question.
know what I'm trying to say, and somebody has an answer, and I need it. I wasn't able to ask it at Community and Economic Development.
We will make a exception with our county commissioner. Could you please?
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I worked in housing for 30 years, and it's a statistical metropolitan something, and Benton Harbor was always the model that it went for all of Berrien County, and it comes from HUD. It comes from HUD, and Mr. probably has the same numbers. So anything that you do, you go to Intercare or whatever, they have an income limit, and it probably corresponds with what you would use should you be placing people in subsidized housing and all those things. That's what it is. It is a Michigan, or for each state, a standard. or each county, because Detroit's income limit is higher than Benton Harbor's because their wages are higher. So it is standard.
Thank you.
Thank you for letting me.
Thank you.
Thank you. Chair recognizes Commissioner Henry.
Thank you, Mayor. So when I hear that these are federal guidelines and what is it, 12,000 something is the lowest, and our average is $9,000, the average income for our residents, maybe we should consider lowering it so we can include the very poor in our community. When I look at the guidelines for HUD and MISTA, they call us very low income.
Well, it says if you're under 1249.
I know it says under 12, but if our average income is $9,000,
Then they're covered.
Doesn't it? I mean,
if it needs to go lower, it won't cover it.
Under 12, it's covered. Everything
Under 12
is covered.
I got you. Thank you.
Thank you. So, and this is time sensitive because we're about to have coming up. So we definitely need to pass this resolution. Thank you. There are no other hearing on, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Isom,
Yes.
Commissioner Henderson,
Yes.
Commissioner Edwards,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Seats,
Yeah.
Commissioner Singleton,
Yes.
Commissioner Harrelson,
Yes.
Commissioner Adams,
Yes.
Commissioner Henry,
Yes.
Mayor Muhammad.
Yes. The last and final resolution, adopt a resolution approving the appointment of members to the Twin Cities Sustainable Harbor Working Group. Motion is made by Commissioner Henderson,
Second.
supported by Commissioner Singleton. Is there discussion?
Good.
Chair recognizes Commissioner Edwards.
Just one quick question. I don't have any problem with the people. I just want to know how did you come up with those names? How did you?
So this item came through the legislative committee. I don't think you were there. The commissioners who, the people who are sitting here, Santana Warren actually sits on the legislative committee. Vicki Harrelson was in the audience, and I think Commissioner Adams was here.
Yeah.
There was several other people, and we were talking about it because we know we needed to bring it to this board, and Commissioner Harrelson actually asked to sit on this because we only wanted one commissioner, city manager, and and Ms. Jennings were selected at that time, and that's how those people were chosen.
Yeah, thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Chair recognizes Commissioner Adams.
Thank you. And I approve that message at that meeting. I would ask though, for those that are listening, that want to sit on this board or any other, if you're not gonna show up, resign. And allow the seat to be open to somebody else that wants to get to know what's going on in their government. That board and any other board. But I have a request for revision, and that's on the resolution itself where it says the city of Benton Harbor and St. Joseph Charter Township have identified, we haven't identified anything, for one. But I would like to see down further where it says need for a joint traditional entity to address. No, that should be discuss. That word address should be replaced with discuss. And down in the next one, whereas it has been recommended that the cities of Benton Harbor and St. Joseph Charter Township form a working group. Note that should be a working council.
Commissioner,
That should be a council, and with the developing and proposal harbor, not governing body, council.
Commissioner,
that, when you giving somebody, you mess around and give somebody authority playing around with words to be doing stuff is not okay with Mary Alice.
this,
The
if
Commissioner
I
Adams.
can just, Commissioner Adams, this is a,
It just replace the word. That's all I ask. Just counseling. Replace the word with counsel and counseling. Not governing, they ain't governing nothing. They just talking and making recommendations. And that shouldn't be a problem. Because if it's a problem, it's a problem. With the problems that I've heard the community coming up with.
Commissioner, I think, and are you offering this as an amendment?
Yes, please.
That amendment would need a second.
Everywhere where it says working group or governing body should be replaced with counseling and recommendations.
I second it.
Discussion.
I understand what the Commissioner Adams is saying, but I think the only way, it's my thought, huh? We can't change it unless all groups are there, right? So we all have the same. So if we had to put council on ours, they would have to put it on theirs.
Says who? This our resolution.
It's a work group, it's togetherness.
Oh, Lord.
This is a standard. The last.
They were not at our committee meeting for us to put this resolution together. And if that's the case, they can change theirs because they need us. We don't need them. They came asking us, the city of Benton Harbor. We didn't go asking them for nothing.
I don't think that the support is there to amend.
Says you.
You want to get calling for a vote?
Okay. And then you gonna deal with Ben Harbor on your own. If anything go wrong.
I'll accept the challenge.
I just like to make a comment. I'm asking for permission, Chair, to speak.
I'm looking at it. Go right ahead. I was looking right
I
at
didn't know you was looking at me to give me that. Okay.
Words are tricky.
I'm kind of feeling what Gentle Lady Adams is talking about. And I don't want to see it become a governing body.
It's not a governing body. This
I don't approve of that language as well, because most of the land belongs to Benton Harbor. And
came out of one hole. I ain't trying to dig back down in another one.
so I'm really not agreeing to that language as well. I don't know about the council part, but I do not want to give this group any authority to do anything but make recommendations.
That's all this group has.
Well,
Show recommendation on this document. Where's
governing
recommendation
says
on this
a whole new thing when you put governing in it. It gives them authority.
Exactly.
And I'm totally in agreement to that amendment. Chair, thank you.
Show me recommendation on this document.
Chair recognizes Mayor Pro Tem.
Hey, Mayor, per our charter, you cannot sell property, do anything without a 2/3 vote. But they don't have no kind of authority to sell, give away nothing. How can you have a body that was giving away property and transferring property by the charter? You can't sell property, do anything without a 2/3 vote. So if you want to name an authority, if you want to name it a work group, if you want to name it whatever you want to name it, you can do it. But it's 9:30 at night. You got to be here tomorrow. These people have been working all day long. Now they're gonna be working tomorrow. I don't even think we need commission comments. This is ridiculous for us to even be talking about 3 or 4 words. So let's just name it the Get Along Gang, and then they just get along, and they bring back what they get along from Get Along. It don't make sense. Let's move this forward. They can't do nothing. You know, the city manager is not a voting member of a body. They're just bringing back information. We have not even joined this authority. This is just something to
We're not gonna
kick
join
the
that.
can down the
Then
road.
why would they be,
It's a committee.
then make it count, call it committee. But we make decisions in committees, to call it committee or council, no matter. A working group working on what?
The chairman recognizes the city.
Governing on what? Govern is what we do.
Commissioner, in response to this issue, you all were at the table, all three communities, and they identified the authority of what each group could do, the name by name. And you all agreed that you wanted to have that group to have the ability, not the group of the people that are named here, but you all, to have the ability to maintain your harbor, to raise money and do other things. They gave you the law that said how you could do it, and you all agreed. Now we're gonna come in tonight and change? No.
Changing what? We're not changing anything. The group is gonna go forward. Through the chair.
But the language was, you all agreed on the language at the table.
I don't remember actually agreeing on the language, but I heard
So,
some other
the thing
conversations.
about it is,
where,
right, we
something
can't
about
tell you.
contracts and stuff.
You made a motion to amend, it was seconded.
Okay. Call your question.
Could you call the vote for that?
Commissioner Adams,
No.
Commissioner Henry,
You said no.
Oh,
She
was
said
it to
no.
amend?
Yes.
This is to amend it?
I retract that. I retract that vote. To amend,
to amend.
yes.
That's what we voting on, right?
No,
Commissioner Henry,
no.
Commissioner Singleton,
No.
Commissioner Isom,
No.
Commissioner Henderson,
No.
Commissioner Harrelson,
No.
Commissioner Edwards,
No.
Mayor Pro Tem.
No.
Mayor Muhammad.
No. I'd like to make a motion to approve the resolution as is, or call for the question, pardon me. Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Singleton,
Yes.
Commissioner Henderson,
Yes.
Commissioner Adams,
No.
Mayor Pro Tem C.
Yes.
Commissioner Henry,
Yes.
Commissioner Harrelson,
Yes.
Commissioner Edwards,
Yes.
Commissioner Isom,
Yes.
Mayor Muhammad.
Yes.
Motion carries.
This brings us to staff comments. Chair recognizes the Public Safety Director, Director McGinnis.
Greetings,
Greetings.
commission, citizens that are left. Three things. I'll run over very quickly. First thing is, I already sent out my monthly report, which you should have gotten last week. That's one. Two, in reference briefly to the incident question, there's obviously more to the story. We're taking 10 seconds of a 30-minute incident. But I will say my door has been and has always been open. Up until today, I didn't have no idea who even the mom was, and none of them had talked to me. I haven't talked to them. So there's been no conversation. The Bible says, come, let us reason together.
Wow.
Didn't get that opportunity. The third thing I would ask that we consider, either this body and or through public safety and recreation. Last year was the first year of Juneteenth that the city kind of unofficially partnered with. We saw it was a great success. I think it's going to be bigger and better this year. I would ask that we consider two things. One, to make a a formal resolution in support of. And if we do indeed do that as a partnership, a couple of things that we would be able to waive for them, i.e. the, I think, park registration, as well as make sure the date is reserved for them every year. I would ask that. Again, we supported last year as a city, and I think it would be fair to do the same thing and then allow them to plan forward, because I don't think that they are bulging at the seams with money. So, we can clean up the park. It's $250 deposit that they get back. But again, if we're partnering, that's a very, very, very small in-kind donation to that. So if we can get that addressed somewhere, and that is in my report, Mayor.
Thank you. Chair recognizes City Assessor Story.
Thank you. I just wanted to remind you the same as I did the last meeting, that assessment notices will be out anytime. They've been turned over to the printing company, so they should be received within a week, I would think. If you have any questions regarding your value, your property classification, please give my office a call. If you want to speak to me personally, my cell phone number is available. You're welcome to call me any day. I'll do my best to explain things, and if you need to appeal anything, you're welcome to make an appointment with us to come into the March Board of Review. One other thing, personal property statements are due in 2 days, February 20th. So if you're a business and you haven't claimed the small business exemption, then your personal property statement is due to the assessor's office by February 20th.
Thank you. Chair recognizes City Attorney Hearn.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. No report.
Chair recognizes our Community and Economic Development Director, Director Jenny.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, City Commission members and residents. On the topic of the Twin Cities Sustainable Harbor Project, there is one additional consideration that is going to need to be made, and I'm going to assume that it will go back to Legislative Committee, and that is the recommendation for a neutral facilitator and administrative assistance for the project. If you recall, I believe at the joint municipal meeting, it was thrown out there that the county could assist with administrative work, providing materials, papers, copies, perhaps even a meeting space, if that was something that was agreed upon by the group. Dan Fetty could also provide assistance with facilitation. However, if that is not the will of this body, I am requesting that if there are any additional suggestions for neutral facilitators for that specific group, that those suggestions go to city manager so that we could get them to the project coordinator as of this time. Eagle is going to be pulling away from the project, so we do need to, there's no cost associated with that.
So, real quick, I'd like to suspend the rules, and I'd like to put a motion on the floor to vote on this particular item.
What was it again?
Because I remember the discussion about
Facilitator.
Right.
I'd like to suspend the rules.
With no cost for the city of Benton Harbor to incur.
For the county to. I second.
Support.
Motion is made by Commissioner Henderson, supported by Commissioner Adams. Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Henderson?
Do we have some discussion?
Discussion.
Oh my goodness. Question. We're gonna let the county be our facilitator?
I support.
We're gonna let someone that has proven to us that they're not our friends, and we're gonna let them come in and facilitate a program, a project that started out wrong. They didn't include the citizens of Benton Harbor. They made it a fact that they made a mistake. They did not include the citizens of Benton Harbor. And they were gonna try to do better. And now we're gonna tell Dan Fetty, and if everybody knows who Dan Fetty is and who's been in the process before, If you don't, look him up. You'll see his name all through Benton Harbor projects. Now, if we can't find somebody else to do it, I'm gonna vote no the next time this comes up. We gotta find somebody that's gonna be friendly to Benton Harbor's perspective of the harbor.
Can I make a suggestion?
So I don't know where this came from, but it's surely gonna we gotta have some time to go and find somebody. Cause I definitely don't want Dan Fetty or any of those people to facilitate and lead us down a primrose path. Cause we've been led down that path before by the same people. And I refuse to let that happen this time. And I hope that you don't. I hope that we take some initiative and choose the right person to facilitate this group. This has just come up. Now give me a day or two. I will get on the horn and the rest of you should be trying to find somebody too.
It's already a motion. Yes, ma'am.
Discussion. There's a young lady that she used to chair the LPAC meeting, and Zakine, I'm saying her name wrong, but yes, I think that she would be wonderful representation for Benton Harbor. Just a suggestion.
It's the facilitators for all three.
Exactly, and she gets along well with them. From what I observed, sitting around the
offering?
I don't know, but she just may be available if you ask. She would probably love to be a part of. But my question is, something about this just doesn't sit. Something is real wrong, and I just can't put my hand on it because for some reason I can't figure out why was the Benton Harbor St. Joe River Authority dismantled when it set forth a way to accumulate or gain some dollars to have the river dredged. And that's when I learned from then management that we own like that much of the river, but come to find out,
Commissioner,
we own a whole lot. No, I'm just saying something else is going on here and
take over.
Let me just say this. We are in control of our own destiny. Now, what people did in the past.
No, I'm trying to remember where I came from so I know where I'm going.
We can't, Mr. Duncan, please, this is the panel. I'm just saying, Commissioner, we cannot relish in what happened years ago.
I don't expect for you to, sir, but I still have the floor. What works for me may not work for you, and what works for them may not work for us. What I am saying is, I have to look back in the rear view to make sure that I'm not gonna run over the same pothole again.
I'm not saying no.
Because when I was in that pothole, somebody came along and put their foot on my neck.
But we're gonna let the Commissioner who represents the county on our behalf, Commissioner Yarborough.
Please, I thank you. I am Berrien County Commissioner. I was a member of the St. Joseph River Harbor Authority. Commissioner Mary Alice Adams was a member of the St. Joseph River Harbor Authority. And we found out, or going along, it had been, probably in existence for 40 years or something. And there were representatives from St. Joseph, from St. Joe Township, from the city of Benton Harbor, and then there were commercial people, citizens, somebody that owned a boat, the 2000 and all of that. And because the suggestions that we made, the city of St. Joe did not let them happen. All three communities had to come together. And finally, they said Berrien County was the only county that was still having a harbor authority, that the authorities were put in the hands of the city that was on the water. We don't want to lose the harbor because all those big ships and that gravel and stuff that comes here is valuable and it's big money. But if you don't stay together or make things work or somebody do it, then you're going to lose the designation of harbor. There's money in the federal government, so much money from those people paying
Is that the
fees to
trust?
come into the harbor, yes.
Is that the trust?
Yes.
Explain to this commission
And,
what the
and
trust is.
We're not here for that right now. We're just talking about a third party person being a facilitator for this working group. That's all we're talking about.
And I want to get the county out of it. I want to let you all know. So what we decided to do was to dissolve the St. Joseph River Harbor Authority and put the stuff back in those three communities' hands, St. Joe Township, City of St. Joe, and the City of Benton Harbor. I have been coming here for the last however many years you asked me to come and speak, talking to you all about the water. Yes, they're gonna take it if you don't go to these meetings. The meeting you're talking about, I've been going to for a year or two. And it was money given from somewhere in Michigan State University or University of Michigan, studied it, and that's what you all went to. The county does not want to be in that. I keep saying the three communities. The county has already been in it. We have voted not to be in the harbor authority. That is up to you all's communities. So Dan Fetty has, I tell you all about a room with all the plans of everything that's ever been done. Every community has it. If you all needed to know about what happened in 1492, he'd go in the room, go in the computer, push the button, it'll tell you. He's willing to give you information and to help you out in that way. But as far as running something or being the manager of it or the director of it, we are not going to be in that. Berrien County is not going to be in that. And like I said, the last week or two, if you don't work with somebody, nobody's going to send you $300,000 or $10 million. We had a $10 million project, and the City of St. Joe said no because they wanted it to be just green grass on that bottom down there. I think we ought to sell the jail, the courthouse, and everything, and build condos on it because that's a prime piece of property.
There you go.
That's what I say.
Thank you.
But I only have one vote.
I'm with you.
So know that Berrien County does not want to be your facilitator. We don't want to be anything because we've been it for 50 years and it was not accepted. You all need to appoint somebody and you need to go to these meetings. City Manager Ellis has been there. She's been there, and this is what people are making their doctorates and things based on studying us. And there's money everywhere to do things with this water, and it's not necessarily from taxes, it's from those pipelines where they shoot that gas through things, and they put money back in communities to save the water and the land. And you need to stop arguing or discuss it and go to these things and send somebody. Because you can't do it.
That's what we try.
If we on the water, we need to be in it or they're gonna run it. I watched and saw where they got a little paddle boat that's coming. And it's coming for the senior PGA. It's gonna land in St. Joe at the end of the Harbor Shores. It's gonna land in St. Joe Township and St. Joe City. It ain't landing in Benton Harbor. And there's a little piece of rock where they can land. It's because you all are not paying attention to what's going on.
Thank you.
That's it.
So, there was a motion. Is there any more discussion? Chair recognizes Commissioner Singleton.
I'm a little confused here now. Motion on the floor is
Dan Fetty was one of the names or persons that was offering to be a facilitator. Pardon me? A facilitator of the working group that the city manager, the group that we just recommended to be a part of this working group. He is going to act as an independent facilitator for that group, Dan Fetty.
No.
For all three.
No. She just said no. She said don't do it.
That's not what she said.
She said Berrien County is not going to
That's information.
He's just providing information as a facilitator. Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Henderson?
Yes.
Commissioner Isom?
Yes.
Commissioner Harrelson?
Yes.
Commissioner Henry?
No.
Commissioner Singleton?
yes.
Commissioner Adams?
Yes.
Commissioner Edwards?
Yes.
Mayor Muhammad?
Yes. Chair recognizes the city manager.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I want to just say, we had a lead, there's a letter on the, out there, and you're all going to be receiving letters at your home. We had a lead exceedance, a small lead exceedance, and you'll be receiving letters. Every home in Benton Harbor will be receiving. And that's part of the process when we do have these things. We have to educate the public. No dangers, no, don't drink the water, stuff like that. But we have to let you know. Anything else, Tracy?
I said,
That's why.
Chair recognizes Commissioner Harrelson.
I'd like to thank everybody for coming out tonight, seeing the government in action on tonight. I just like to say in regard to what happened on tonight, just do a thorough investigation. And thank everyone for coming out.
Chair recognizes Commissioner Henry.
I thank the residents that did decide to stay and watch the action of government. We have to be wide awake with things that are going on in our community, in our city, not in our community, in our city. I heard them talk about they're gonna ask the community. Well, I wanna ask them, who is the community? So when I hear those kind of words in the document, they're gonna talk to community. They're eliminating us. They don't have to go through us. And then on top of that, when we make a decision, do we look past our nose? Do we look past to see where the citizens gonna be 5, 10 years down the road? Or are we just looking right now? And that's a question I'm asking my colleagues. Do you want to just sit on it or just keep kicking the can down the road? We got things that's been on the agenda that we haven't even went back and touched. We just want to keep kicking the can down the road. And when the citizens look at it, they come in here and fill this little chambers up. We're short 8 seats than what we had before, but they'll come in here mad or happy. That's the way Benton Harbor works. You're either mad about it or you're happy. So far, we ain't showed them nothing to be happy about, except we took their income tax money and started fixing the streets. We ain't said nothing else about it. We're not holding the people accountable for the things that they're doing to us, saying about us. I don't just say shame, shame. Some of the things that we're not doing. Some of the things that we know that the people want done. And we don't stand up together to make any of it happen. It's disheartening when we don't stand up together and make something happen. Thank you.
Commissioner Edwards.
Thank you, sir. Thank everyone for coming out. I apologize for the picture taking. I had a family emergency, so I had just got back from Chicago today. So, if possible, I'll put on a suit and take a picture another day. That's it. Thank you.
Commissioner Anderson.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. Just like to thank everybody that came out. And I agree with one of my colleagues in a sense. We were not on this commission with some of the mistakes that were made in the past concerning the city of Benton Harbor when 105 years was given. I don't think any of us were sitting on this commission, but possibly one person. And so they gave 105 years to somebody for a tax break. And so that will affect us in the long run. And so we do stand together with things that we believe. Like we believe we will not be bullied into making decisions that will not be beneficial to the city. We will not give somebody a $50,000 contract to be a consultant for the city of Benton Harbor. That's not already working for the city. So we have decided that we are doing something for the city of Benton Harbor. It's not the same that it was 5 years ago. It's not the same that it was 2 years ago, because we have decided that we wanted to make the city of Benton Harbor a better place. And we are standing together to do those things. We are holding people accountable and just not making bad decisions. So I say kudos to this commission for the things that we have done, for the improvements that we have made. And so we are standing together. We are doing the work that many commissions have not been able to do. It is a slow process and a steady process, of which we're proving that we are going to be the ones to do it. So thank you, guys.
Commissioner Singleton.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. Short and quickly, just to understand my language, the public safety committee meets on the second Wednesday each month. Tonight, we did hear from a lot of citizens, our mother belief that, due process. Also, I believe that if there's a perception, of certain things, that may be happening, we do owe citizens obligation to either, put it to rest, either find out if is there a problem, or find out that it's not a problem. And we need to let them know, because people do need to feel safe. They feel some level of trust, so if there's any type of issues that need to be looked at, trusting in staff and the city manager to look into things and reassure the citizens that they look out for their best interests. I will reserve my thoughts on what I did see until things are looked at. All due process because been followed. Go from there. We appreciate to the mayor for stepping up and giving the people assurance that things would be looked at and concerns would be addressed, and go from there whichever way they come out. So I did want to see them leave away with just wait and guessing. Our process here that probably need to be tweaked a little bit, because we did have to suspend the rules to make some comment to reassure that things will be looked at. So, it's this is what government's about. You got to make some decisions, and things do happen, and we have to make certain calls. And the bottom line is best interest of the citizens, transparency, honesty, and all that stuff. So, go from there.
Commissioner Isom.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. I'd like to thank the citizens coming out tonight and holding on this late time at night. Thank Priscilla and the Benton Harbor High School Black History Group, all the presentations they done. The Noble interview went well. And we have 4 more tomorrow, so we got choices to make for the city, for the citizens, and so I hope the investigation about the incident or what happened, it's due process, but it's all about the safety of the people, and we got to just look out for the people, in both ways,
public safety you all gotta come together and compromise and just try to get along, and just come together. Thank you.
Commissioner Adams.
Thank the residents for coming out, taking time out of your busy schedules this evening, and staying with us this long period of time. I've heard so many things this evening that just disheartening as a mother of 6 children. I lost my firstborn and I lost my last. And in between, first of all, I think that I was a terrific mother since I wasn't given a handbook either. I tried to train my children in the way that they should go, knowing right from wrong myself. But when they find out that they have a will of their own, they're going to test society. The young lady that was here tonight and the rest of the community probably don't even know it. I had one that was running from the police officer. Officer didn't know he had a gun in his pocket. It could have went real bad, real fast. I thank God that I was able to stand that officer, look him in his face, talk to him, and listen to him as well. He was glad that he did not have to shoot my child or my child shot him. Glad that he could go home to his children. Glad that I could talk to my son again. Because I know what it's like to bury one. No, I know how it's like to bury 2 and some more. Because when I lost my first one, I lost 2. It was 2 of them. But I know what it's like. But this just happened. But how was the officer to know? But he told the officer because when he was running, he didn't realize that it was an officer chasing him. And when he saw that it was, he stopped. Anyway, this is the month that the best president in United States history formed my brother's keeper, February 27, 2014. And we need that to be working now more than ever. But see, it's easy to point fingers when we have picked the ball up and we've started dribbling. We're supposed to be doing some things in the community to keep that trust between officers and the community. Trust, building on that. And we haven't been doing that. And I'm asking the city manager after seeing our, I'm going to publicly say this, that if you would in fact get with our new superintendent and let's do something like a chair chat, 1 hour every month to allow a small little panel, maybe an officer to go in and use it as a day of encouragement in the auditorium of the high school. Chair chat and do it for the middle school as well to encourage them, talk to them, and I mean, it shouldn't take this for them to come down to get encouragement or the history that they brought forward. We need to spend some time going to them. If it's a different officer, one of us, a community leader, or anybody else that wants to. An hour a month, 1 hour. Chair chat, 2 chairs up on, and give the youth an opportunity to get out of the realm of the classroom and ask some questions about whatever topic one chooses. But to just get them engaged in their government or ask them about careers or whatever. 1 hour, once a month. That's a start. Thank y'all.
Thank you, Commissioner Adams and all of the council people. I'd just like to read something. It says Proverbs 15:1, a soft answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger. So we witnessed tonight a very explosive meeting and crowd. And that does not have to be positive or negative. But you need both for friction and you need friction to be able to move forward, because that produces energy, that produces activity, that produces motion. So I think that if we take the energy that was in the room tonight and really examine what was said, because one of the worst things we can do as leaders is not hear and see the writing on the wall. When there's alarms, when there's something that has gone wrong, if there's something that needs to be looked at, or something that needs to be addressed. We don't want to be like Nebuchadnezzar, where it's handwriting on the wall and we don't even see it. Or recognize that it's been weighed in the balance and found wanting. He didn't recognize that, and he lost what he thought he had amassed. So I think tonight is a watershed moment. It's an excellent opportunity for the city of Benton Harbor to show leadership and to instill in the residents that we are here as elected officials to serve, to protect, and to be fair and to be just. Lastly, the symbol for justice is a woman that's blindfolded. So she's blinded to color. She's blinded to gender. She's blinded to authority, blinded to position, blinded to power status, blinded to uniform. What's on the scales and how do they tilt? And hopefully we can look at and use that as a model as we make decisions and move forward in the best interest of the city. I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Commissioner Adams?
Yes.
Commissioner Edwards?
Yes.
Commissioner Harrelson?
Yes.
Commissioner Henderson? Yes. Commissioner Henry?
Yes.
Commissioner Isaac?
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton?
Yes.
Mayor Condon?
Yes.
Mom, I'm hungry. I just
You didn't read your books today? You ain't read your books today?
You were sitting for 19 hours.
We should go, me and you should go Burger
Where your bag at like this? Go in there and get your bag. In the
Right.
manager's office.